to order. I would like to welcome everyone. Thank you all for attending on this beautiful summer afternoon. I just will hopefully not keep you too long tonight, but really appreciate everybody's attendance tonight, both people who are in the room and people who are online. So the first item on the agenda is acknowledge that the land upon which we gather is the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq, and we pay our respects to the Indigenous Mi'kmaq people of this territory, past, present, and future. Second item on the agenda is declaration of conflict of interest. Is there anyone around the table who has any conflict with any of the items, conflict of interest with any of the items we're going to be covering here tonight? If not, we'll go to item 3, approval of the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda that anyone would like to propose? If not, I'll ask for approval of the agenda as it is now. Motion for approval? Thank you, Councillor Jackson. Seconder? Thank you, Councillor Chandler. Thank you. Okay, next item on, all those in favor? Aye. Anyone against? Motion carried. So the agenda is approved. We'll now move to the minutes. Minutes of a regular monthly meeting of July 9th, 2025 in your package. Any additions, deletions, or changes to those minutes that anyone would like to propose? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval of those minutes. Thank you. Councillor Cox? Councillor Jackson, second. Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone against? Motion carried. Any business arising from the minutes that we won't be covering here tonight? Acting CAO Pierce, anything that we're not going to be covering here tonight? Anyone else notice anything that we're not going to be covering here tonight? Okay. We'll now move to presentations from the floor. Any presentations from the floor? Anyone? No? Okay. Okay, we'll move to my report. It's in your package. Just a couple of highlights. A lot of good work was done by staff again this month, especially and really appreciated everyone who attended the Pride in the Park event, Michael Thomas Waterfront Park, second big event that we've had there. Both were very successful. We had the Pride flag raising and also the parade to kick off Pride Week. And I'd just like to say that we really value all members of our community, including those who have alternative lifestyles and orientations. So they're very valuable to our community. They add a lot in terms of interest and diversity, and we're really stronger because we have all those different members of our community participating as productive citizens. So we have, I participated in a planning committee meeting, diversity inclusion committee meeting, met with the tennis association to thank us for the resurfacing of the courts at Pondside. Very good job there. They were very appreciative of that, of the new facility or the refurbished facility. The annual general meeting with the CADC, and the big item there for us was the acquisition of the property off Shepherd Drive and its future value to the whole waterfront development. Yeah, and I attended the Tina Turner concert here in the Stratford gym. I was just amazed at how they were able to transform the gym into a wonderful venue for a musical tribute to Tina Turner. It was, and the sound and the quality of the production was just first. It was actually world class. I've seen a lot of productions, and this was really, really, really good production.
I see him picking Stratford.
Yes, that's right, and they really liked it apparently because of the there's lots of parking, and it was very convenient, and it worked out really well. And it was supported. I understand that the support grew over the week, so that's good to know. Had a great meeting with MLA Jill Burridge to discuss a lot of town issues, and We did receive a letter from this week from the Premier supporting our town community campus project, which was really good. I'm sure that MLA Burridge had a lot to do with that, and really appreciate all the efforts she's making on our behalf. Last night at the, it was a hot night, but the forest tree planting at Fullerton's, I think everybody that was there, you know, was really enjoyed it. It was fun, but it was a lot of it was pretty warm anyway. But it was a good thing to do. 250 trees, really beautiful trees. Going to be a nice forest. Tribute to all the heroes we have here in Stratford, past, present, and future. You know, I was thinking about people like Steve McQuaid and Gail and Neil McDonald. All of the, you know, Harry James, all the great heroes that we've had over the years here in Stratford, and just, you know, I think even people that you wouldn't normally think of, people like, you know, my sister-in-law, Jill. She was a autism consultant, and she worked with the province, and she did a lot of good work. And she passed away a few years ago. You know, she was Claire Bungie. She was just a great town hero as well to me. And you know, there's others I'm sure in your family and other families that can be. You can go to that forest in the future, and you can think about those people and pay tribute to them. Yeah, I've met with the artists that are doing our beautiful, beautiful murals on town buildings. You might have seen the Heron at Pondside, or at the waterfront, and there's a beautiful mural at Pondside Park, and they're really awe-inspiring. Really, they're incredible. And the fundraising by the Fire Department for Camp Genchef, the lemonade sale last night, or I think it's tonight, the lemonade sale this afternoon, actually. I wasn't able to get, pardon? Were you able to get there?
No.
I guess it was, you know, it's a nice thing to do, and it's really well supported. The car wash was great too, so there was, Fire Department put in a lot of hard work to raise money for Camp Genchef. Well-attended public meeting regarding a proposed rezoning of the waterfront property. There's, you know, I think a lot of opportunity there for providing information to that group. There was a lot of good points raised about things we need to consider if we're going to look at you know, changing the zoning on that property. Yeah, so everything else was pretty well standard. Committee of the whole, monthly council meeting. Number of meetings with residents and staff over the month. Any questions or comments on my report?
No. If I can add one thing, I went to,
In the past, I think 6 weeks, I went to two of Craig's
Craig Fair?
Yeah, Craig's Fair's productions, Fleetwood Mac, and then Eagles Saturday night, and just like you said, like it's like having off Broadway come to PEI. Like it's really phenomenal, and I talked to actually Jaron Pierce with this today. And I think that's something we have to look at, is having a space here in Stratford where productions like that can come and put a show on, and people in Stratford can sit down at a table and watch that kind of production. In Charlottetown, really, there's only a couple places, two come to mind, Trailside and also the Mac maybe, but we need something over here like that a cultural space like that people can come and enjoy right here on the side of the bridge. And I think that what Craig put on over here kind of gives us kind of foreshadows that, I think.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, thanks.
It's great. I was there Friday night at this same show. It was a great show.
Yeah.
Just something to add, Steve, to your report there. I stepped up there to the plate your way. I attended the
Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you for doing that.
200th anniversary of the BIS, Belleville Irish Society, and that was a great turnout there and great reception. So I just want to thank them too. It was 200 years. I remember the BIS on Grafton Street, and now it's out North River Road. So I remember, but 200 years, it went quick, passed quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I add one more thing? Just in line with what Councillor Cox said, and in regards to your comments about the Craig Fair production, I too got to see the show at the Town Hall Gymnasium and was blown away by the talent and the reimagined space. I think they did a great job in doing the transformation of the gymnasium. That being said, a lot of time and energy, resources, money goes into making a space something that it isn't, although they did it exceptionally. And I just want to echo, imagine what could be done in a space that is ready to walk into and perform in as it is, without the additions of curtains and using scissor lifts and like all the stuff that they did to make that show happen. But from all reviews, I've heard nothing but positive comments about it, and people take great pride in those sort of things that happen within our town boundary. So well done to everyone involved.
And I neglected to thank Deputy Mayor Gallant for stepping in and filling in for me for while I was away for a few days. So, so thank you for doing that.
Hey.
Yeah.
Teams, that's what we're all about.
So with that, then we'll move to the Chief Administrative Officer. Our acting Chief Administrative Officer is Jeremy Pierce. He's filling in for Jeremy Crosby, who's away taking some well-deserved holidays. So over to you, Jeremy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Jeremy is on a well-deserved 3-week vacation and returns this coming Monday. His report is in the package. I won't recite it word for word, but somehow he managed 21 meetings in a 2-week period prior to taking vacation. So, but he did ask that I highlight a few things in regards to the town meetings, the planning board, committee of the whole, regular town council meetings, but also the community campus next steps meeting that council and staff met a few weeks back to regarding the future stages of that project that we're looking forward to doing. But also had several development meetings with stakeholders within our community, from the development community. Flourish Development was a planning session in regards to their future, how they see the future residential component of Foxwood, but also some commercial opportunities that they see within our community. So it's great that we have groups looking not only at the residential side, but from the commercial side as well, and see the viable future within Stratford. Also, Grey Group is a big proponent for development within our town. We have regular meetings with them each month. Cornerstone Baptist Church, rezoning, R&D builders in regards to Hollis Avenue, Crossroads Fire Department in regards to the new ladder truck, and some discussions in regards to E-Watch as well. Some intergovernmental relations or engagements with the Premier's Chief of Staff, who was interested in seeing what the immediate and long-term future of Stratford is in terms of development and growth and various projects that we have on the docket. So it was great that they reached out and wanted to meet with Jeremy, so he was accommodating. I'm very thankful for that meeting. Also, Jeremy took the opportunity to meet with Charlottetown's new CEO, Brad McConnell, just to share that there is a viable future for both communities, and intergovernmental cooperation would be at the forefront on a variety of topics. So they had a good meeting. And then also the ongoing CATC negotiations, which involves our transit, and also rerouting our new routes for the town within, starting in August 26th. So not sure how he did it, but he was able to squeeze in all those meetings in a 2-week period, and the town is very busy even in the summer months.
Thank you, Jeremy. Any questions or comments on Jeremy's report? If not, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which is safety services. I'll ask Councillor Ron Dowling to give his report. And I neglected to welcome as well at the beginning of the meeting, I neglected to welcome Corporal Painter, who's here off holidays to be with us today. So really appreciate you being here, Corporal. So thank you very much for attending.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Safety Services Committee did not meet this past month. Gave the committee the summer break from meetings, so there is no minutes. First item on the agenda is the RCMP report for July 2025. And the details of the reports contained here have been circulated to members of council previously. We will call forward Corporal Painter, if you would, just to give us some overview.
Thanks for having me here. All right, so the July 2025, during the month of July, Stratford RCMP recorded 412 occurrences, with 390 of those founded or still under investigation. This is slightly higher than last month's 384 and higher than July 2024, where we recorded 348. Interesting fact, files have almost doubled since July 2023, where we had 221 files that July, and now we have 412. We had 205 occurrences related to traffic enforcement, which makes up for 52% of our occurrences. We issued 46 summary offense tickets and 85 warnings, 60 speeding violations. We had 7 impaired driving occurrences that were reported, with 5 being by alcohol and 2 being by drug. Of these, 3 of the alcohol related were concluded with charges recommended, while the other 3 were resulted in charges late. We charged 4 drivers for impaired driving over the legal limit, and 1 for refusing to provide a sample. It's kind of repetitive there a little bit, but 1 drug related remains open at this time, pending lab results. We also had 3 impaired files where the suspect was either not located or determined they were not impaired. 3 of these impaired driving charges were involved in motor vehicle collisions and the lone hit and run file we had in Stratford during July. We had 16 motor vehicle collisions, performed 16 step files, select traffic enforcement program files, 25 theft files. 16 of those were related to gas stations. 15 of the 16 were determined to be as a result of the payment not going through, where they forgot to pay prior to leaving and later returned. 1 was an actual theft of gas, but the gas station decided they didn't want charges, requested a no trespass to be served instead. As far as community involvement or police initiatives, I know Constable McGrath was here last month. We got called away to a priority file there, and I never got back, so I apologize for that, but thankfully Constable McGrath was able to come for me. So, and I know you guys mentioned Canada Day, so on July 1st, myself and Constable McDonald attended the Fullerton Creek Conservation Park in the morning. The youth running series had an event there, so we hung around there for a little bit, and then later in the day we participated in the flag raising as part of the Town of Stratford Canada Day festivities. So again, I know we talked that day, but thank you for inviting us and allowing us to be part of the festivities there as well. We appreciate that. July 17th, myself and Constable McDonald assisted with the Make-A-Wish run, assisting HMCS Navy. We led them in a marked police car from the detachment, using Georgetown Road, Stratford Road, and Kinloch Road, finishing up at Sobeys, where the HMCS Navy had a tent set up for Make-A-Wish. And then a few days later, July 19th, Sergeant Garrett, set up a food drive, with the Stratford Sobeys, and had help from the Eastern Express U13 AAA Team McNevin baseball team. Constable No and Constable Richard were also in attendance, and Sergeant Garrett said it went very well, was well received. They filled the RCMP boat, which they had on scene there, with 210 pounds of food and $327 in cash, so very successful. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Any questions?
I'd like to thank you for attending those events, you know, the running event and Canada Day especially, and for some reason I didn't have the Make-A-Wish event on my calendar, so I wasn't able to be there. I would have been there, but I really appreciate all the work you did on that file as well. That's really important to a lot of families, that food you collect.
Yes.
So thanks a lot.
No, I appreciate that. I think the Make-A-Wish, we didn't organize that. That was HMCS Charlottetown, the Navy that organized that. And they actually just stopped by our office that morning and asked us to assist. So we were quick to jump on that and assist them. We didn't really do much, to be honest, but they did all the work, but we were happy to help out for sure.
It's a great thing you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
I just have one. I talked to Corporal Payne a minute ago about this, but first of all, like, I think people forget it's not just policing. You guys do piecing, and you do advanced community services and connections, and do all the things you were talking about, and that's a very important part of policing, right? And but I think it does show, especially in June, July, and August, how much we need another police officer here in Stratford. When last few days as I've been driving around, just noticing the speed of people. I was at Kelly's Landing yesterday, and a car came from behind me, and he had to be doing 80 coming down Kelly Heights. And last night I was just visiting my neighbor in front of his garage, and there's a sign right in front that tells you the speed, and this person was doing 98 at 5:30 last night. So you can't put the police car on Mason Road, police car, and Kelly Heights police car on Stratford Road 24/7. You just can't. But it seems to me like that the speed is really a big issue. If I go to Sobeys, if I go anywhere, that's the thing that people ask me, besides, did you sell your house, is about the speed that's happening in Stratford. And it is a concern because there's a lot more people walking, a lot more people biking now. And it's just something that I'll continue to hammer home. And I think like the signs we have, Wendy, we can take the data from that and see speeds per day and stuff. I'd be interested this week to see the speeds this week on that sign, if we can look at that. And if they go past 100, it doesn't register. Is that correct? It's just three dots.
Yeah, I think it'll still show it on the data, but just not on the sign.
On the screen, yeah. And I'd just be interested because, and we're not the only community. Cornwall has this, Charlottetown. Everybody has these kind of things, and some of it's tourists, and some's whatever, right? So, and I once again echo what's been said. I think you guys are doing a phenomenal job, and especially yourself, and appreciate everything you do. But it's just something that, if anybody brings it up to me at different places, I always say that I'll make sure I still bring it up at the meeting. So do my due diligence.
No, I appreciate that, and you're right. I mean, everywhere else, it's the same problem, but this is our town, right? And
right.
We're trying to do the best. Everybody here is trying to do their best to try to make it a safer place to live. So you're right. Speeds, I have noticed that as well. Speeds, impaired drivers, it's getting worse. It doesn't matter how many you stop or how many you charge or give a warning to. It's still a problem and continues to be a problem. So we have had a lot of help from our traffic section as well. Like some of these stats, they're not just the Stratford General Duty members. It's the traffic. They spend a lot of time here too, helping us out. A couple of them live in the community as well. So we'll continue to do that and try to set up in different places and not the same place every single time, so they know where to slow down and where to speed up, right? So
no, exactly. And in some places it has significantly improved, kind of thing, but it's just something that people have been talking about it, so I just thought I'd bring it up again.
No, I appreciate that. Like I said, when I first came over here, we would rather know than not know. If we know, then at least we can take that initiative to set up and spread the word and send the email around, make sure everyone's aware of it, so when they're doing some proactive traffic enforcement or just pulled over on the side of the road doing some computer work, then at least it's set up in somewhere where you're going to be effective, not just hiding behind a building.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at July 2023, 11 speeding violations, and now it's 60. So in 2 years. So I mean, it's.
There's more people in town. There's more children. There's more people that are active in the community. And I know, like Wendy sent messages there, like the electric scooters and the electric bikes now, it's, you know, it is. It's an issue, and it's up to us to make sure that it's not a real big issue.
Yeah, well, I appreciate everything. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
I had one question, and I know, I'm just looking for a ballpark, just to put in perspective. When I heard you say the figures associated with the gas, potential gas theft, and that, I think, did you say 15 of those 16?
15 of the 16
complaints were
unfounded, or solved
unfounded
non-criminal.
or failure technology, et cetera, not an intent to steal gas.
That's right.
Just for some insight, can you let us know how much time investigating one of those claims might take?
Yeah, I can give you like a ballpark, because it varies between this time of year. It could be more tourists, right? So for us, we're fortunate to have the same system that Access PEI would have. So if we run a license plate, I could get a phone number for you, even if you've never dealt with the police before. Where if we have a New Brunswick plate, or a British Columbia, or in the States, someone from the States, we're not as fortunate to have a phone number. So then you're playing the games of trying to track down somebody. So for instance, for example, I guess, before I went on holidays, I had one from Nova Scotia, and there was no dealings. So I had to look up the address, and that person wasn't linked to the address. So then I found somebody that was linked to the address. I called them, and then they didn't have a phone number for them, but they gave me another person's name. I had to look up the other person's name. So in all, it probably, I would say 20 minutes of like phone tag and searching the computer for one issue where they swiped their card, they thought it went through, and they left.
So
it can be pretty time consuming.
When it all adds up.
It does.
When it's month after
and there
month.
could be 3 a day or 2 a day some days.
So how do we get every gas station on Prince Edward Island to be like the new one in St. Peter's, where you cannot get gas unless you put a card in?
That's a great question, and I know that we've talked about this before here, and I know it's a topic of discussion outside of Stratford as well, from where I previously worked. So I don't know where to start on that. I have personally told the gas stations, like, we can't continue to do this. Like, you're calling us to tell us this, but it's not a theft. It's a civil issue. So
Right.
you know, if you're that concerned, and it's typically the same 2 gas stations where this is happening. So I said, you guys should have somebody outside or somebody watching the pumps, like, because they're using us as a go-between to call John and say, hey, John, you forgot to pay for your gas. And they're saying, oh, I thought I paid for my gas. No, it didn't go through. Okay, I'll go back and pay. So it's just that phone tag game where you're right, it's not really our issue. But unfortunately, when we get that call service, we can't just ignore it either.
And I think the changeover for a lot of gas stations is very expensive. And I think I said this before, last summer in Surrey, this lady that was behind the counter, this car pulled out, and she said to me, can you go follow that car and tell him he didn't pay for his gas? And I did. I went down to Tim Hortons and told the guy. But I came back, and she said, if he doesn't come back, she said, I have to pay for his gas out of her pocket.
Yeah, but what would have happened if you got into a collision trying to track him down, right?
That's right.
That's
Right, and I mean, I can't beat up a carload of poets, so I mean, so
Yeah.
he could have pushed me and I would have fell over, so.
It sounds like there could be efficiencies within the business model as
Yeah.
opposed to
It's
with law
just-
enforcement.
Yeah.
I just think it's something this day and age, and if it's mandatory across the island, and I don't know how we do it, that's provincial or federally, but if it's mandatory.
I think I can offer a little bit of information about that. We had a discussion with Constable McGrath last month, and I mentioned at that meeting that I had discussed it, brought it to the Federation of PEI Municipalities, to the board, and Constable Brent McDonald came and did a presentation. I discussed it with the commanding officer, Chief Superintendent Kevin Lewis, and he arranged for Constable Brent McDonald to give a presentation to the FPEIM board. and it was really well received, but the situation is now the board or the staff at FPIM will do an analysis and make a recommendation to the board at an upcoming meeting to ask the government to look at putting pay at the pump island-wide. So, but they're going to do an analysis. I know New Brunswick did that. I know Chief Superintendent Lewis mentioned that in New Brunswick, I guess the commanding officer there just told the retailers that we're no longer going to respond to driveaways. So, so they put in pay at the pump, and apparently it's working really well. And so it's the kind of thing that you know, it's in the works. It's not something you can snap your fingers and do. There's apparently the retailers are mostly in favor, but there's one or two that aren't. And so unless everyone does it, then obviously they have a competitive advantage. So, but yeah, I appreciate you know, you continuing to you know, address this. But at the same time, I understand the frustration because it is something that never changes. It just seems to go on, and just take a significant piece of police resources, part of police resources that could be used for other purposes. A lot of serious things that are going on that you don't have the time to spend on because of spending time on stuff like this. So we appreciate that. Just on your comment about another police officer, that's a discussion we'll have at budget time. We do have a budget set up, as you know, and we do have a limit on our budget that we can, and based on analysis and recommendations from staff and stats and that sort of thing, then we can look at it. In terms of speeding overall, I think other jurisdictions have found that photo radar is the answer, and it's working in other provinces and jurisdictions. Ottawa, Montreal, other jurisdictions have it, and it works quite well. I've been advocating for a long time to have this established on Prince Edward Island as well.
No, I think that's important. And when I said another police officer, I was talking about as the town grows, as we keep moving forward. And we will be adding more police as
That's right, yeah.
As we get up to 30,000, whatever. And it just shows you, as we move forward, is an importance with every police officer that's added.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think the RCP recognized speeding as an issue across the island with the traffic enforcement unit. The 6th member, they went from
That's
4 to
right.
6, right?
That's right.
So they went from 4 to 6, so they recognized that problem. So it's great to see that.
And we are getting the benefit, as you know, the Corporal mentioned, we are getting the benefit of the traffic unit here in Stratford quite a bit. So we really appreciate that as well. Please pass on our thanks to them as well, because that's really important. That you know, that randomness you know, is really the thing that makes people slow down.
Yeah, for sure. I just had one more thing. I didn't, again, I didn't make it to last month's meeting, but I believe somebody was asking about like the impaired statistics as to where they stand in terms of like drug compared to alcohol, or how they have changed over the month. I'm not sure who that was asking, but Greg McCormick did some stats here for us, and I tried to print them off to take them with me, but I couldn't. It was not working. So I'll email that to everyone so they can see for their own eyes. But just in terms of the town of Stratford, in the 5-year average, we have 63%. 63% of the impaireds are impaired by alcohol. 26 are impaired by drug, and then we have 11% that are impaired by alcohol and drugs. So that was 2020 until 2024 that he did the stats up for. So even compared to 2023 to 2024, they're similar, but 21 alcohol impaireds in both 2024 and 2023. In 2024, we had 15 impaired by drug compared to 2023's 8. And then 3, a mixture of alcohol and drug in 2024 compared to 4 in 2023. So they're similar numbers, but it'll make a lot more sense when I send it to you. So I'll get you a copy of that. I'll email that to everyone to view, and hopefully that'll make a little more sense to everybody. And then he also gave me the stats for all of Prince Edward Island. So he did all Prince Edward Island and Stratford, separated them. So
Yeah, thank you. The only other item that I wanted to raise as well is that with regard to your point about people speeding and the stats showing up on the signs. I do know that in the past, and Jeannie can correct me on this, or perhaps you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I understood that there was a situation on the Mason Road where, I don't know if it was Greg McCormick or who analyzed it, but that data was analyzed, and you could see that someone was speeding at the same time excessively every certain day every week, or a certain time every day, or something like that.
Yeah,
And
I'm not sure who broke that down, but I do know what you mean, like it'll break it down right between 6 and 7, 8 each
Yeah.
hour, and give you the top speed or the average speeds.
But they were able to, that outlier, they were able to, because it had a pattern, you were able to put somebody there and get that person
That's right, yeah.
when they were excessively speeding, which I think is important. I think that that data, that analysis is really really valuable. So that 80 person, if they do it on a regular basis, the person's going 80 kilometers an hour in a 40 or whatever, 98 or whatever, they'll hopefully show up as an outlier on the stats, and there will be analysis done that will indicate if there is a pattern that you guys can catch them.
Yeah, exactly.
Or her, yeah.
Another tool that we can use, and so we'll touch base to determine time-wise, and we'll do our best to set up there and be in the area.
Yep.
Hopefully at the right time.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Enjoy the
Thank
rest of your summer.
you, Corporal Painter. I appreciate the effort of yourself and your members. I think by and large, from all that I've heard, people in the community are very satisfied with policing in the community. And things like speeding and impaired driving, gas pump write-offs, they're universal issues, and there's no comprehensive solution other than to do what you're doing with the comprehensive enforcement unit and focusing on Stratford. And we have very large volume of traffic going to and from through Stratford in all directions at all times of the day and night. So it's not like, we have the little microcosm of our own community, several, 14,000 or 10,000, whatever number of the drivers there is. It's tens of thousands of vehicles going through the community. So the stats show that headway is being made, and hopefully the province will institute legislation to allow speed radar detection, and that'll work well with the iWatch system that Councillor Glanton and Councillor Jackson have been working on for a number of years, and is making headway. And so anyway, we appreciate everything that you folks do.
Thank you. Team effort.
Thank you for your report.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming tonight, too. Thank you very much.
So 9B, Your Worship, there's nothing for streetlight report. And 9C, there's the Mayor's report to yourself that's been included with the variety of occurrences. And if anyone has any questions in relation to those. Okay, moving on then, the Humane Society report that's been circulated. Nothing overly anomalous there. They continue with community patrols on a regular basis and respond to complaints when they're called upon as well. And if there's any questions in relation to the summary that's been presented, I'll entertain those. Hearing nothing, then we'll go on to 9E, Crossroads Fire Company calls for July 2025. I'll just note quickly, there was a total of 36 calls for July, 27 of which were within Stratford. And there was one mutual aid call in relation to a matter in Charlottetown. Otherwise, the company continues to remain very busy, and they continue to train, and even in this weather, You know, they're called out, they're training. It's, you know, it's quite a commitment to be a volunteer firefighter. And, you know, their work is certainly appreciated by everyone. And I know this council has full support of the fire company and their commitment to their duties. If there's any questions or comments in relation to that report, Your Worship, I can entertain those.
I just have one comment. I know that at the event last night, the tree planting, the fire department were there. And I know that for all the functions that we've pride in the park, they had a pumper and everything set up there. I know for the Wishes Run, they set up there. They're really supportive of all our community events, and that's very much appreciated. And I know they're responding, you know, very quickly to anything that comes up. The fire in Kinloch Creek is an example, you know, of how effective and quick they can respond. They saved the neighboring houses from severe damage and actually the whole neighborhood. So it's the kind of thing. It was a windy night, and that fire could have very easily spread to the whole area. So. Yeah, they're a really professional company, and they do a lot of good work in our community, not only related to fire protection, but to supporting the community in general. I do have a question also.
Sure.
But I just wanted to make that point about the fire company. With regard to safety, just wondering if there's any, and perhaps you can help me, Jeannie, on this. Is there any bylaw that requires a structure, once it's severely damaged by fire or otherwise, to be demolished so it doesn't create a danger to the people in the area? I know that where the fire occurred in Kinloch Creek, I know that structure's, it looks very, it's the same as it was the day after the fire sort of thing, or the day. Is there any bylaw that requires that structure to be?
We do. Yeah, we have a dangerous and unsightly premises bylaw, but I'm surprised because I was told that structure was being demolished this week.
Oh, it may have been. I was just by there just a couple of nights ago, and it was still there. I was just down by the beach there, and I noticed it. So. Okay. I didn't go back down last night, but it may have happened yesterday or today. I don't know.
We can look into it. I did hear that was the plan for the week.
Okay.
But if not, we can follow up on that.
Okay. No, that's fine. I just wondered if we did have a. So we do have a bylaw.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yes.
Yeah. Thanks.
I think I can talk. My company was down there after the fire, securing the scene, and well, it's a conflict of interest again. I don't know. But anyways, with the fence, they put a fence all around for the structure. So.
Okay.
And their signs are posted, danger and everything else. So, and in the meantime, what Jeannie said, I think it's the building coming down.
Hearing it came down yesterday.
Oh, okay. Good. That's
Okay.
good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I just have a question about fires too. With the way the heat, way we're the last couple of weeks to heat, do we have anybody enforcing bylaws regards to fire pits in yards and stuff like that? And do we get complaints on that, or does that go through the RCMP, or?
Well, there's a province-wide fire ban on now, and I think
Yeah.
that would include everybody, including
That's right.
everyone in Stratford.
Yeah.
And who enforces it?
Our RCMP do enforce that particular part of the bylaw. Yeah.
Okay.
We do have restrictions on open pit fires in the town, so that would be enforced by RCMP.
Great. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Jeannie.
Any other questions? Just a final comment, Your Worship. I know just from sitting on the board on behalf of council for the fire company, I'm just getting a little bit of insight into the high degree and extensive training that is involved with our fire company. So we really do have a very top-notch fire company for a community our size and community any size. In relation to any other company on PEI and Maritimes and beyond. So I commend all of our firefighters and express my appreciation for all the hard work that they put in. It's really done aside from their regular job in the middle of the night. Any time during the day, all weather. It's phenomenal, the commitment that would be required in order to say I'm going to become involved with this, knowing the extensive training that you have to go through even to be allowed to do it.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, anyway.
No, I agree with you completely.
Yeah.
That's, people forget about that, the middle of the night calls, and they're available all times of the day or night to respond to, you know, community emergencies. Hi, Felix.
That's it for me, Your Worship.
Like to welcome Felix to our meeting today. Hi. Okay, we'll now move on to, thank you very much for your report, Councillor. We'll now move on to recreation, culture, and events. I'll ask Councillor Gordy Cox to give his report.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, the following is an overview of the projects and items that have been worked on within the Recreation, Culture, and Events Department. Work is now underway for the next phase of Stratford Community Campus, with construction progressing on the trail system, sports fields, and expanding parking areas. This phase of project will significantly enhance usability and accessibility of the campus for residents of all ages. The fencing tender closed on August the 7th, and the lighting tender remains open until August 28th. And we'll be talking more about the fencing tender as we go forward here, but if it does go through, the fencing tender could be finished by October, and that would be really great to have that in there. Looking ahead, the project team anticipates the trails will be open and accessible to the public by the end of September, providing residents with a new opportunity for walking, cycling, outdoor activities. Also, in the sports field, scheduled to be seated mid-September, with the expectation that they'll be used the following year. So lots of upgrades happening in the community campus, obviously, and it's definitely going to be a central hub for us here as far as recreation, wellness, and the community connection. The Stratford Youth Center and Council, there's always lots going on here. The Stratford Youth Center has been busy rewarding summer and having a very rewarding summer season with several programs, initiatives engaging local youth in leadership, education, and community service. Major highlight was the completion of 3 separate leadership trips to Nova Scotia, including 22 youth participating in total. So congratulations to our youth to attend those 3 events. The youth summer camp based on the youth center has been running successfully throughout the summer, with weekly enrollment ranging from basically from 20 to 25 children. The camp continues to offer structured recreational programming, creative activities, and opportunities for social engagement, for fun and in a safe setting. The Youth Center Garden Club has continued its weekly programming through the summer. Led by instructor Heidi, the program includes 10 youth members who maintain a garden plot at the Stratford Community Center, and also with leading hands-on gardening skills and contributing to local sustainability efforts. Meaningful milestone was also reached this summer with the awarding of the Cheryl Duffy Service Award for 2025 to 3 outstanding youth members, Edie Duncan, Rona Duguay, and Zoe Sharpley. Each recipient is graduating this year and will attend post-secondary education on Prince Rupert Island this fall, and each has been awarded $650. So congratulations to all 3 of our young people who received that award. Planning is underway also for the Cheryl Duffy Memorial Walk. This is held annually here in Stratford on September 22nd and begins at Cotton Park. And it's also partnered up, it's part of our partnership with the Stratford Fall Fest. The annual event honors Cheryl's legacy. As we know, Cheryl was a police officer and also contributed greatly to the town of Stratford. And this walk supports youth programming in our community. Preparation for the fall season is ongoing with Youth Center registration set to open September 1st. Staff look forward to welcoming both new and returning members as we go into the school year. Pride in the Park, as the mayor mentioned, it was a great success. It was nice to see a lot of the staff there and councilors there also. It was very, very well put on. For me, a highlight was Dawn, who did this phenomenal dancing with kids and everybody else. It was high energy and really was a highlight of that day. I must give a shout out to a lot of our staff, obviously, and especially to Melanie, who did a fantastic job, and Wendy, and the list. I'm going to miss a whole whack of people if I keep going down the list, but I want to thank everyone that was there and that participated. And they didn't give me ice cream this time. For some reason, they thought they better not give me an ice cream scoop, so or a hot dog. I think Jill did the hot dogs. Did you do the hot dogs, Jill?
I was responsible for helping with the barbecuing and making sure that everyone had what they needed in regards to that for the 2-hour event, and it was a pleasure.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was really good. So that was really nice to see that, and it was a wonderful day, and it was well attended. So Fall Fest planning is well underway for the Fall Fest, including for Saturday, September 27th, as we talked about. So look forward to having lots of residents attend that, and of course staff and councillors are welcome to join in on this event, and they will be looking for volunteers. PEI Food Group program has significant positive impact in the community through its food delivery operation based out at Stratford Town Hall. Over the 2024-2025 school year, the Stratford Hub produced an impressive, I found this number really impressive, 72,602 meals, averaging 408 nutritious meals per day distributed to children and youth across Prince Edward Island. So that's a phenomenal amount of meals to pass out. So thank you so much for that. The town of Stratford is proud to host and support this program, which continues to demonstrate the power of community partnerships in creating a meaningful province-wide outcomes as it has. Cotton Park exhibit, the Cotton Park Barn will host a new exhibit from August 19th to September 2nd, featuring work of local artist John McPartlin, titled Absent. The exhibit promised to offer unique and thought-provoking artistic experience for residents and visitors. This showcase continues to build on the town's commitment to promoting local artists and providing accessible cultural programming in public spaces such as Cotton Park. So that's something to check out there. And the dates I just told you there, from August 19th to the September 2nd. The Mural Artistry Bursary, the 2025 Mural Artistry Bursary was awarded to Chantal Dupuis, a talented Prince Edward Island resident. Chantal is currently developing mock-ups for their first mural. The Recreation Events and Cultural team works to identify a suitable town-owned wall for this project. One potential location under active consideration is the Grudge Wall at the town hall. So very, very talented. Nice to see some local residents getting their artwork put out for display also. The Poppy Project, the community continues to show strong engagement on the ongoing Poppy Project. As of August 7, 2025, a total of 11,188 poppies have been collected. Originally, I think we were looking at hopefully getting 4,000, and now we're up, moving towards 12,000, which you triple that. This initiative highlights the power of collective creativity and remembrance. So thank you for all the residents of Stratford who contribute to the Poppy Project. The ferry trail at Cotton Park, significant progress continues on the ferry trail in Cotton Park. The willow artwork installations are well underway with the butterfly sculpture completed, the arch in progress, and the willow ferry currently being shaped. In addition, wood carvers Nicholas Brown and Abe Waterman are scheduled to be on site in August to complete custom carvings that will enhance this whimsical nature of the trail. So wonderful work there, and nice to see that. Programs and fall activities. Fall program registrations are set to open September 4th, with classes and activities beginning in October. A full lineup of culture and recreation offerings will be shared with the residents in the coming weeks, and residents are asked, of course, to check out our website for further information on this. The town of Stratford has been bustling with sporting success and activities over the past several weeks. Most notably, the Stratford hosted the Canadian Old Timers Baseball Nationals from August 1st to the 3rd at Lower McNeil Field, welcoming teams from across the country. Stratford's youth baseball teams have also enjoyed tremendous success, with the U15 AA team claiming championships at both the Summerside Tournament on August 3rd and the Cornwall Tournament August 6th. And I believe right now they're at the Nationals. Is the Nationals out right now, Jeremy? U15?
Which Canada Games currently taking place
Oh, and they're 5-0. And they're 5-0, so big shout out for that, to be 5-0.
Yeah, great. That's fantastic.
That's really great.
They
So,
beat Nova Scotia, too.
yeah, beat Nova Scotia, yeah, awesome. And British Columbia.
Wow.
Adding to the success, the U13 AAA Eastern Express went undefeated in round-robin play with to win the Tubby Melanson Memorial Tournament in Moncton on the 27th of July, and the U11A Stratford team won the Cornwall Tournament. It looks like we're going to be building a trophy case here in the town, a bigger one. On the softball side, the U17A team earned a silver medal at the Summerside Showdown on the 20th of July, and the U15 AA Stratford squad also will represent PEI, the Eastern Canadians, from the 21st to 24th of August. Stratford is also proud to host the U13 AA Eastern Canadian Softball Championships during the same weekend at Upper McNeil and Bunbury Fields. Finally, we're down to kind of a sad moment away, but a good moment. In staffing news, Tina McKenzie officially retired from her position as Recreation Administrative Clerk on July 31st. Following years of dedication and service to the town of Stratford, her professionalism and positive presence will be greatly missed by both the colleagues and community members and staff. The position was recently posted, and the town received an impressive 99 applications. We are pleased to welcome Christy J. as a successful candidate. Christy will begin her new role on Monday, August 11th, so it looks like she started already, and working from 8 to 4, and we look forward to having her join, look forward to her working with us here in Stratford. So that is the report, and thank you, Jeremy, for that too. So
Thank you. Thanks for that, Councillor Cox. I was down to meet Christy there. Yeah, fine addition to our staff. Really pleased to have her aboard. But sorry, I had to go up to Ontario for a celebration of life, and I was unable to be at the retirement party for Tina. But I do wish her all the best, because she was a valuable employee and she did a great job for us. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention is that you were very modest. You actually did the music for Pride in the Park, and you did a great job. You acted out YMCA really well too. You know.
That's one of the things I can spell. So thank you.
Okay.
I have a resolution also. I should.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Any other comments or questions on Councillor Cox's report?
I'll just comment on the teams winning. Winning's not everything, but it helps sometimes. Of all the teams, the sport teams in Stratford, and how we are looking to move forward with the community campus and so on. And you just look at this stuff and you see sports tourism right all over it, and bringing people to Stratford, and spin-offs here are you just can't believe what can happen with the spin-offs there. There's people buying things and that. So as we're growing there with this year with the 2 new softball and baseball fields coming at the community campus and so on, and are moving our soccer fields to Industrial Park to the community campus. So it's just, you see how we're growing and moving in the right direction here.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, thanks for that, Deputy Mayor. And go ahead, Councillor Chandler.
I had one question, and I actually am not sure if it's for recreation or infrastructure, just to follow up on the washout on the Stratford Trail behind the home that was potentially now demolished.
Yeah, they've been
Has it
down
been
there.
done? Is it all done? Okay.
Okay. Sorry, Councillor Jackson.
Just
go ahead.
wanted to kind of speak to the impressive nature of the murals that are at the, I guess it's at the lift, it's the station over at Pondside, the one in Pondside especially. Haven't been down there before when it was, I mean, it's an old structure, but it looks fantastic, and it complements our frolicking frogs or whatever but it's really nice with the parking lot paved, and it's a hub of activity now, and it's so nice to see that spruced up. Yeah. I know I was initially maybe not seeing the vision, but it really turned out awesome. So I want to kind of eat my words and say thank you for doing that, and really impressed by the artist's work there.
I feel like maybe that comment, because in the early 2 years I was more involved in the recreation committee and arts and culture, and obviously it's been a continual, I don't know if it's been done, is it all done? Okay.
Yeah, they've been down there.
As it, is it all done? Okay. As a, as a mission for us to showcase the value of public art and its importance and the way residents engage with it and the feedback that we get. And that spills over in other aspects. So when somebody is seeing those values, they may be more inclined to fill out a survey or participate in another event or et cetera. So they really have significant value. And I thank you for stating that you're seeing that, Councillor Jackson. Appreciate it.
So we're probably going to look for Councillor Jackson's support come the February budget next year.
Correct.
You can count on it. Oh, I appreciate that.
No, I had a comment on the Cotton Park. It's just the last couple of years just turned around 360.
Yeah.
And they're down there painting now and with the murals and so on. And everybody did a fantastic job, maintenance, and Heidi and everybody else. We're just growing, and those murals are beautiful. And it just, you see the murals and a conversation starts. You're out for a walk or you're over looking at it. It starts a conversation, and people have a lot of pride in our community, and they love that stuff. And it drives you, and like I just can't wait when Cotton Park's done now. People walking through Cotton Park, the conversations, you know.
Yeah, and you see what you get for a little more investment, and I do see that now.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we didn't spend enough before to get that kind of level of effect, but it's impressive. Yeah.
You know, in most towns of PEI, go to Surrey, go to Montague, murals are everywhere. And even in Charlottetown, the whole side of the fire department is a massive mural, and it's really, really nice. So it's nice to see us also have some murals here that we're very, very proud of. And I think it's nice all over PEI, you know, having that, because arts and culture is a major part of Prince Edward Island, so it's good to see that. Yeah, great. Do you want me to read the resolution there?
Yeah, if there's no other comments or questions, please proceed with the resolution.
Okay. Resolution, this is number RC 001-2025, Stratford Community Campus ball field fencing. So whereas the town of Stratford is developing the Stratford Community Campus as part of its long-term vision to promote recreational, cultural, and social opportunities for residents, and whereas the town of Stratford was previously awarded $450,000 through the 2023 Canada Games Legacy Fund to support the development of fencing and lighting at the community campus, and whereas a tender was issued to solicit bids from local and regional contractors for the installation of ball field fencing, and whereas one tender was received with the following bid submitted. Contractor was Eastern Fence Products, and the tender price, excluding HST, $169,500. Whereas this bid submitted by Eastern Fence Products in the amount of $169,500, excluding HST, was the sole tender received, and the funding for this project is submitted through the Canada Games Legacy Fund. Be resolved that the town of Stratford accept the tender for the Eastern Fence Products in the amount of $169,500, excluding HST, for the ball field fencing installation at the Stratford Community Campus. This resolution bears the recommendation of the Recreation, Cultural, and Arts and Events Committee, as confirmed through an email poll conducted on August 8th, 2025.
Okay, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Jackson. Any comment, any discussion?
Just a comment, just great to see a local company get in there and you know, at a fair price. And they do excellent work, so it's nice to, very good to see that. Would have been nice to see more bidders, but yeah, they do great work, and it's nice to see locals getting this work too.
It's nice to see the Canada Games too, are giving this, from Wayne Crew and staff there, contributed $450,000 and to the town of Stratford, so it's nice to see part and parcel, those things coming together.
Okay, call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Motion carried. Any other comments or questions on the recreation report or the resolution? Okay, well, thank you very much for your report, Councillor. Thank you. We'll now move on to finance and technology. I'll ask Councillor Jody Jackson, chair of that committee, for his report.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'll try to be brief. I know we get a lot of items in the agenda. So Just a little update on, we didn't meet as Finance Committee in July, but we will pick up again in the fall. But just some updates on what's going on in the department right now. So utility bills are due on August 19th. We had MRSB in to do an on-site audit for the year end during the week of June 23rd, and they're in the final stage of the audit and hoping to have draft statements in early September. So good news there. Town insurance went out to tender, and we have that resolution in our package momentarily here. So we'll deal with that momentarily. Staff reviewing information from the fire department on options for the purchase of a new fire truck. So it's nice to see that continuing to move, and thank the Safety Services Committee, Your Worship, and everyone on council, especially Councilor Darling, for keeping this top of mind for us. Staff are participating in training on Town Suite accounting software, and are thankfully getting to enjoy some vacation days over the summer, and are continuing to be busy. Like Deputy CAO said, extremely busy throughout the summer, so there's no real break, but it's nice to see our staff able to take some well-deserved vacation time. So that is a couple of updates on what's going on in the department. So just quickly on the town income and expense numbers. So income is up so far this year, and expenses are down, which is a great sign for us. I think a lot of the expenses I see in here highlight, field maintenance is definitely down. Obviously, there's no grass growing right now, but they still do an excellent job of looking after our fields. So again, just pretty early numbers. We're only 4 months in to the new year here. And utility income and expense, income is down a little bit, but our expenses are down a little more. So we'll keep an eye on that and see where we're at later in the year. Any questions on the town income and the utility income statements that are in your package? If not, I'll move on, if that's okay, Your Worship, to the resolution on the awarding of the insurance tender.
Yep, go ahead.
So FT 007-2025, awarding of insurance tender, coming from the Finance and Technology Committee, moved by myself. Whereas the Finance and Technology Department determined that a request for proposals should be developed and issued for insurance services, given that the last insurance tender was issued in 2021. And whereas proposals were called to provide the current level of coverage and to make recommendations for changes to the current level of coverage, together with the additional cost or savings therefore. And whereas proposals were received from Westland Insurance and Cook Insurance and evaluated on the following, so there was the evaluation criteria in there: coverage and completeness of the submission, experience, financial stability, and references, services offered, and the pricing, with Westland Insurance coming in with the higher scores. I'm not sure I have to read them out. And so whereas proposals were received from Westland Insurance, $166,608, and Cook Insurance, $216,717. And be it resolved that the insurance contract be confirmed to Westland Insurance based on the response to the request for proposals at an annual cost of $166,608 for the first year, with an option to renew for an additional 4 years. Be it further resolved that Westland Insurance provide the town of Stratford with future renewals during the 4-year option period, 90 days prior to the annual renewal date of the municipal insurance policy. So moved. This came through, we had discussed it previously at committees, but don't have a formal recommendation on it, but I know this was discussed, I think even at our last committee of the whole, we mentioned it would be coming here, so moved.
Yeah, and it's not that, oh, sorry, and do I have a seconder? Okay, thank you, Councillor Chandler, thank you. Yeah, normally we would discuss this at Finance and Technology Committee, but because of the timing of it, wasn't possible to do that. We did have a discussion at Committee of the Whole. Okay, any discussion? If not, call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? This Councillor Cox stepped out for a second, but I imagine he would be okay with it. Okay, motion carried.
Yeah, so that's everything, Your Worship, for my report. Thank you, unless there's any questions.
You're okay with we just voted on the resolution? Okay. Okay, thanks very much. Anything further on the Finance and Technology? No? Okay, thanks very much for your report, Councillor Jackson. Okay, we'll now move on to Planning, Development, and Heritage. I know that Councillor Jeff McDonald is unable to be with us tonight, and in his place, the Vice Chair of Planning, Development, and Heritage, Councillor Ron Dowling, will provide the report. Over to you, Ron.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Planning, Development, and Heritage regular monthly meeting was held on August 4th. 2025, and the unapproved minutes have been circulated to council prior. I'll ask if there's any questions in relation to the minutes as circulated. Okay, hearing none, Your Worship. We'll move on to building permit summary. And if there's any questions in relation to that summary. There's also the building type summary there as well, if there's any questions in relation to those. Okay, hearing nothing there, Your Worship, we'll move on to 12C. We got a number of resolutions, first being Town of Stratford Resolution Number PH034-2025 RZ002-25 Falcon Homes, PID 1085976, Ducks Landing, proposed rezoning from R1 to TCR 2, second reading. Stemming from Planning and Heritage, moved by myself, whereas an application has been received from Falcon Homes for a request to rezone PID 1085976, located on Ducks Landing from low-density residential R1 zone to the town center residential TCR zone. And whereas the purpose of the zoning change is to facilitate a future 6-unit stacked townhouse development located in between an existing 18-unit multiple attached dwelling and a single detached dwelling. And whereas in accordance with the Stratford Zoning and Development Bylaw number 45, 50 notifications letters were sent out to property owners whose parcels were within 150 meters of the subject property. 2 advertisements were placed in the Guardian newspaper on June 14th, 2025 and 21st, 2025. Signage was placed on the property and the proposed zoning amendment was advertised on social media to solicit input and to notify residents of the public meeting. And whereas a public meeting was held on June 23rd, 2025 with 6 residents in attendance, and was streamed live on the town's YouTube channel. Residents were given until June 27, 2025 to submit their comments. And whereas planning staff received 17 response letters from residents representing 12 unique properties, or 24% of notified properties, providing comments on the proposed zoning amendment and proposed future development of the subject lands. Be it resolved that bylaw number 45U, a bylaw to amend the Town of Stratford Zoning and Development Bylaw, bylaw number 45, be hereby read and approved for a second time. This resolution bears the recommendation of the Planning, Development, and Heritage Committee as discussed at the meeting held on June 30th, 2025.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Seconder, Councillor Jackson. Okay, discussion.
I'll kick off, Your Worship. I'm speaking against this motion. This building is being placed directly within an R1 zone adjacent to an R3 zone, and it's being called missing middle, when in fact it's no such thing by any descriptor of what you would consider a transition between high density and low density, and I think it's ill-advised to make such changes in R1 zones in particular, and in particular in light of the current work that have undertaken in relation to the bylaw review and the official plan review. And so for those reasons, and based on the feedback from the public, yes, there's a small percentage of the letters that responded, but it's understandable that the majority of those residents being in the R3 would not be opposed to a medium density change, whereas the ones that matter, in my view, are the ones that are directly impacted in the R1 zone, and many of those residents have responded in a variety of ways through contact to councillors, myself, I can attest to, through letters, and several in person. So that was raising some, I'll be voting against this resolution.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any information from planning? I know that we did have a presentation at the last meeting, council meeting on this proposal. I know that there were a number of items that were raised, and I understood that there were some mitigating measures that were being proposed, and to address those. And so I'll turn it over to Sarah.
Thank you, Mayor Upton. Wendy, I might get you to go to the aerial image with the zoning map overlay. That's attachment 3. Just so that everybody knows where we're talking about. You can see on the map there, that's an aerial image of the area. So this lot is right off of Ducks Landing, near the intersection of Ducks Landing and Squire Lane. The zoning map is overlaid on top of that, so the town center residential zone is what's shown to the left of that lot for rezoning. And that's one of our core area zones. It's a zone that allows apartments and kind of higher residential uses. Part of the reason why this rezoning is being considered is that the 6-unit townhouse is the highest density that could go on this lot without obtaining a major variance from council. And so if anything kind of above this, the proposal that's in front of us, there would be further council discretion if it was rezoned. And so yeah, so it's a fairly low risk rezoning, just simply because that's the highest kind of use that can go on that lot. And so kind of to the south as well, there's the CMU zone that allows up to 6-story mixed use buildings. And then the town center institutional zone is also adjacent. And so Wendy, I might get you to go to the concept site plan.
I guess, Sarah, what I'm most interested in is I know we did have the presentation at our last meeting, are the objections that were raised and the mitigating measures that were proposed, and I know we have already given approval to first reading on this.
Yeah, so this was the concept plan that was presented at the public meeting. And so one of the major issues that kind of residents saw was that there were the long portion of the driveway, it is enough length to fit 3 vehicles, but realistically in terms of usage of the lot, you wouldn't want separate units sharing tandem parking. And so since then, we've updated the site plan. And so Wendy, that's attachment 11. And so hearing the comments received, the driveway configuration was reconfigured. And so 2 parking spaces per unit can fit on that kind of double wide driveway. The throat of the driveway was narrowed slightly just to try to prevent vehicles from parking on within the right of way. And then it allows also some space for some nice landscaping and grassed areas in between the driveways. And so that was one of the major kind of feedback that we got from the residents, was they're concerned about the number of vehicles and parking spilling onto the right of way. And so that was part of the solution. And then Wendy, if you want to scroll to the next page. Another comment received had to do with waste disposal, and kind of we know that apartments with shared waste collection areas do have issues. I experience it myself in my own apartment, where kind of having that shared communal waste receptacle area kind of, it absolves responsibility for sorting, and so a lot of the time the waste kind of collects and builds up. So those kind of orange fenced areas are what we've added and what the developer has agreed to, just so that they can be assigned to the units, and then there's individual responsibility shared for both of the, or for all of the units that are there. Again, there is kind of a landscape buffer in between the 6-unit stacked townhouse and the single dwelling that's existing there as well. So those were the two kind of major changes to kind of help mitigate some of the residents' concerns.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Any other information that has changed from the last presentation that you wanted to share?
I don't believe there's been changes. I do believe that this application was fully fleshed out when we brought it to first reading. So I don't see any updates that have happened in between first reading and this reading.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we'll just go around the table if we could. I'll call on Councillor Cox to give his viewpoint on this.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I went and looked at the area. Sorry.
I went and looked at the area today, just look at it one more time kind of thing. Yeah, it's a tough one because it is right the way it's fit in there. I certainly would vote yes to a second time here, but I still have time for some more further thoughts on this, I guess. So.
Well, I think we're going to have plan to have second and third reading and final.
Oh yeah, today.
Tonight.
That's right. It is.
Tonight, yeah.
Darn. There's so much here. I'm just getting swamped. My head's kind of spinning. Yeah. Okay. I'll just leave it at that. That's good.
Okay. Thank you. Councillor Chandler?
This particular resolution has my support. I feel that Sarah did a great job in explaining it, in particular as it being a low-risk rezoning, that the developer has worked to mitigate or, I guess, address some of the concerns that were brought up. And I don't see it as an extreme variation to what is within that area. So I supported it in the first reading and will do so again.
Thank you. Councillor Jackson?
Yeah, thank you, Worship. I was supportive in the first reading. I am supportive again. Just some of the things that make me have confidence in this development. I think, we looked at traffic. The province has no issue with traffic. I know traffic's always an issue. Planning board made the recommendation. I respect that. We did give it first reading, and if things haven't changed, I'm not sure why I would feel any different. I did mention at first reading something that we can't mandate, but just the idea of a fence. They did a lot of work, and I commend Sarah for helping with, looking at the trees or whatever they may do there to kind of break that up. Transit is in the area, and I know Ducks Landing is a place where we plan. It's one of our priority areas for sidewalks, so that should alleviate a lot of the concerns. I understand, where there's some opposition to this, and I respect that, but we can't veto development. Just, I guess we just can't. Residents can't veto development. We have to have good reasons, and so I think I mentioned last time the pictures of the cars in strategic spots in Stratford driving around trying to take pictures of lanes that are over full. I think that's just kind of unfortunate that folks did that, because I could drive around and find a whole bunch of empty driveways too and take pictures of those. So I think that's not helping the case any. Some of the comments at the public meeting, I think, around who may rent these, I think that's also offensive too. I think, we have a crisis with affordability and a lot of things here, and if there's a magic fix to parking, I think a lot of other municipalities would have figured it out by now. So I don't see this as being an issue. It's nice to see kind of that transition between the apartments and the others, and unfortunately, not everybody's going to like it. So I maintain my support for this and look forward to third reading.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Glant?
Yes, I supported the first reading, and I truly support it again tonight for the second reading. Everybody thought outside the box here, and with the apartment buildings behind it, beside it, in front of it, this is not going to be out of the way, sort of. This lot hasn't been developed since 2010, so it's nice to see some development going in there, and I know the contractors, your price of the contract and so on, and these days now it can't be, your singles or doubles, so you're not going to make them, not be able to pay for itself. But parking was an issue, as Jody Jackson said, but that's all looked after there. We had issues at other areas. We just put up signs, and the RCMP enforced them. It's an area where the bus transit goes, and in that area for if there's students that went in there or other people for transit and so on. And so I can't. It's with affordable, like we're always trying to make affordable housing. It's hard to do that, but at the same time we have got to have the option for new residents coming to the town of Stratford to have that option to look at structures like this. So I'm for it. I'm in favor.
Okay. Any other comments or questions before we call for the question? If not, I'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Motion carried 4 to 1? Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay. We have another resolution, another
Thank
resolution,
you.
Councillor? Yeah.
Moving on to 12D, Town of Stratford Resolution Number PH035-2025-RZ002-25, Falcom Homes, PID 1085976, Ducks Landing, proposed rezoning from R1 to TCR adoption. Stemming from Planning and Heritage Committee, moved by myself, whereas bylaw number 45U, a bylaw to amend the Town of Stratford zoning and development bylaw number 45, was read and approved the first time in July 9th, 2025. And whereas bylaw number 45U, a bylaw to amend the Town of Stratford zoning and development bylaw number 45, was read and approved the second time on August 13th, 2025. Be it resolved that bylaw number 45U, a bylaw to amend the Town of Stratford zoning and development bylaw number 45, be hereby adopted, and that the Mayor and Chief Administrative Officer be authorized to affix their signatures and the corporate seal of the town thereto, and to be formally declared the said bylaw passed. This resolution bears a recommendation of the Planning and Development and Heritage Committee as discussed at meeting held on June 30th, 2025.
Okay. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Jackson again. Thank you. Any further discussion on this before we vote? If not, I'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Motion carried 4 to 1. Okay. We'll now move on to the next resolution, Cornerstone Church.
Your Worship, 12E, Town Stratford Resolution PH036-2025-RZ001-25, Cornerstone Baptist Church, 295 Shakespeare Drive, PID 1016377, rezoning from TCI to TCMU, first reading. Stemming from Planning and Heritage Committee, moved by myself. Whereas an application has been received from the Cornerstone Baptist Church for a request to rezone PID 1016377, located at 295 Shakespeare Drive, from the Town Center Institutional TC1 zone to the Town Center Mixed Use TCMU zone. And whereas the applicant is proposing the zoning change to the future creation of 3 medium-density residential lots along Shakespeare and for the expansion of the existing institutional church building. And whereas in accordance with the Stratford zoning and development bylaw number 45, 60 notification letters were sent out to property owners whose parcels were within 150 meters of the subject property. 2 advertisements were placed in the Guardian newspaper on July 12th, 2025 and 19th, 2025. Signage was placed on the property, and the proposed zoning amendment was advertised in social media to solicit input and to notify residents of the public meeting. And whereas a public meeting was held on July 21st, 2025 with 11 residents in attendance and was streamed live on the town's YouTube channel, residents were given until July 25th, 2025 to submit their comments. And whereas only one person in attendance at the public meeting asked questions regarding the intended purpose of the rezoning request, and no written comments were submitted to the town regarding this proposed rezoning. Be it resolved, bylaw number 45V, a bylaw to amend the Town of Stratford zoning and development bylaw, bylaw number 45, be hereby read and approved for a first time. This resolution bears a recommendation of the Planning, Development, and Heritage Committee on August 4th, 2025.
Seconder? Thank you. Designated seconder. Okay, discussion. Any discussion?
I'll start off, Your Worship. With this proposal, I think, in actual fact, based on residents' comments, this proposal by the Cornerstone Baptist Church, their expansion of their church aside, the residential components that will be allowed through this zoning will be more befitting the areas and perhaps some of the development that could occur now under the current zoning. And for that reason, I'm in support of this motion.
Any other comments or questions regarding the question? Okay, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Motion carried. You have a couple more resolutions, at least quite a number. You're going to earn your money tonight, Councillor Dowling.
Yeah, 12F, Your Worship, Town of Stratford Resolution Number P8039-2025-VA001-25. Sean Cody, 10 Ledwell Lane, PID 329649. Variance requests to side yard setback, proposal number 2. Stemming from the Planning and Heritage Committee, moved by myself, whereas an application has been received from John Cody for a variance to side setback for a proposed addition, DP 019-25, 2-vehicle garage to the existing dwelling at 10 Ledwell Lane on PID 329649 within the low-density residential large lot R1L zone, and whereas the required minimum side yard setback is 12 feet and the proposed side yard setback is only 7 feet, which represents a variance of 41%. Whereas the existing lot is legal non-conforming lot, substandard size, and the existing dwelling is a legal non-conforming dwelling, substandard front yard setback. Whereas pursuant to subsection 6.1.2 of the Zoning and Development Bylaw number 45, variance applications shall demonstrate one of several tests for justifying a variance approval. This application has been considered against the following tests. A, the lot in question has peculiar conditions, including small lot size, irregular lot shape, or exceptional topographical conditions which make it impractical to develop in strict conformity with bylaw standards. B, strict application of all bylaw standards would impose undue hardship on the applicant by excluding the applicant from the same rights and privileges for reasonable use of his or her lot as enjoyed by other persons in the same zone. And C, the variance is consistent with the intent and purpose of the official plan. Whereas pursuant to section 8.12.1D, council may grant a variance to the rear yard, front yard, or side yard setback requirements to an extent that is reasonable and feasible and does not compromise the safety, convenience of the character of the neighborhood, and may issue a permit on a non-conforming lot. Whereas on July 3rd, 2025, in accordance with subsection 6.1.6, where a variance in excess of 10% is being requested, 15 notification letters were sent to property owners who own parcels of lands which were located in whole or in part within 61 meters or 200 feet from any lot line of the parcel being proposed for the variance. two response letters we received before the comment deadline on July 25th, 2025. Be it resolved that approval be granted to an application from Sean Cody for a variance to a side yard setback for a proposed addition to the existing legal non-conforming dwelling at 10 Leadwell Lane on PID 329649 within the low-density residential large lot R1L zone subject to the following conditions. One, the minimum side yard setback for the proposed addition shown in DP 019-25, proposal 2, is granted a variance of 41% and must be a minimum of 7 feet. And 2, that the proposed addition shown on DP 019-25, proposal number 2, must comply with all other relevant provisions of the Town of Stratford Zoning and Development Bylaw number 45 are met. This resolution does bear the recommendation of the Planning and Heritage Committee as discussed at a meeting held on August 4th, 2025.
Okay, seconder? Thank you, Councillor Cox. Thank you.
All right, sorry, Jody.
Okay, discussion. Any discussion? I think if I could just say a word about this, I think this is an example of good work by planning and openness on the part of the property owner to meet the town's requirements as much as possible, while at the same time getting the result that he or she was seeking. So I think it's a good example of the town and the property owner working together to come up with a satisfactory solution.
And neighbors.
And neighbors, yes, sorry, yeah. Any other comments or questions?
I'll just echo those comments, Your Worship, and also state that this is proposal number 2. The first proposal was rejected, I believe, at committee.
Yeah.
Because of, in large part, the opposition from neighbors and the variance that was requested. The proponent then modified the project work, and that, by all indications, has satisfied the neighbor as well, and that's an important consideration in my view. And for that reason, I'll be supporting this resolution.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Motion carried. Got a couple more.
12G, we're closing in. 12G, Town of Stratford Resolution number PH0400-2025-VA007-25. Edward Bradbury, 47 McDonald Road, PID 463638. Variance request for the flanking side yard setback. Stemming from Planning and Heritage Committee, moved by myself. Whereas an application VA 007-25 has been received from Edward Bradbury for a variance to the flanking side yard setback for a proposed accessible secondary suite addition to the existing accessible dwelling at 47 McDonald Road on PID 463638 within the low-density residential R1 zone. And whereas the required minimum flanking side yard setback is 15 feet, and the proposed setback for the addition is only 12 feet, which represents a variance of 20%. Whereas pursuant to subsection 6.1.2 of the Zoning and Development Bylaw number 45, variance applications shall demonstrate one of several tests for justifying the variance approval. This application has been considered against the following tests. A, the lot in question has peculiar conditions, including small lot size, irregular lot shape, or exceptional topographical conditions, which make it impractical to develop in strict conformity with bylaw standards. B, strict application of all bylaw standards would impose undue hardship on the applicant by excluding the applicant from the same rights and privileges for a reasonable use of his or her lot as enjoyed by other persons in the same zone. And C, the variance is consistent with the intent and purpose of the official plan. Whereas on April 17th, 2025, in accordance with subsection 6.1.6, where a variance more than 10% is being requested, 11 notification letters were sent to property owners who own parcels of land which are located in whole or in part within 61 meters or 200 feet from any lot line of the parcel being proposed for the variance. whereas a petition in support of the proposal signed by 9 adjacent landowners was submitted with this application, and no additional written correspondence was received. And whereas as the design specifics required under the building code for accessible dwellings make it harder for these types of buildings to be built in strict conformity with the standard zoning bylaw development standards, this proposal meets the variance test identified in subsection 6.1.2b. Be it resolved that approval be granted to the variance applicant. Be it resolved that the approval be granted to the application VA 007-25 from Edward Bradbury for a variance to the flanking side yard setback for a proposed accessible secondary suite addition to the existing accessible dwelling at 47 McDonald Road on PID 463638 within the low-density residential R1 zone subject to the following conditions. 1, the minimum flanking side yard setback for the proposed secondary suite addition shown is granted a variance of 20%, must be a minimum of 12 feet. 2, that the property secondary suite addition shown in VA 007-25 must comply with all other relevant provisions of the Town of Stratford Zoning and Development Bylaw number 45 are met. This resolution does bear the recommendation of the Planning and Heritage Committee as discussed at a meeting held on August 4th, 2025.
Okay, any discussion, any comments or questions?
You second?
Oh, seconder, sorry.
I'll second.
Second? Okay,
There you go.
thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Yeah,
I'll start off comments, Your Worship. This is an accessible suite that a property owner's looking to build, and as we all know, accessible suites, fully accessible suites are a rarity in the town and most communities in Prince Edward Island. We're hoping as time goes on that becomes more and more prevalent. Also, this proponent has taken the extra measure of contacting neighbors directly and doing the groundwork beforehand, helping the neighbors understand the basis of his proposal. And more importantly, overall, the neighbors are in favor of this. The design or the layout of the area allows for a street separation from the proposed development of the setback to surrounding neighbors, and the closest neighbor is some distance away. And for those reasons, I'll be in support of this resolution, Your Worship.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Councillor Jackson?
I just echo, oh, sorry. I didn't see it.
I'll go next.
Okay, just echo those comments from Councillor Dowling and Edward and Susan there. They put this file together and did a fantastic job. And talking to councillors and talking to neighbors and neighbors supporting them, and it was just a great news story. It's great to see that. It's a welcome addition to their home, and so they can use that for extension there. So I just looking at the file itself, going through from top to bottom, everything is there. It's great work by Edward and Susan there, and it's nice to see this happening so quick. He was talking to me a couple of months ago, and it's starting to get done now.
Good. Thank you. Councillor Jackson?
Yeah, I just want to echo what Deputy Mayor said about that, and Councillor Dowling. I'm getting a weird echo here. Yeah, just looking through the file, I want to commend the proponents, I guess, for doing all the work and really, working with the neighbors to make this happen, and just seeing the back and forth with our staff and how helpful they were in trying to help get this moving. I got a son with a disability, intellectual disability, but he wants to live in the backyard when he's older and have his own house and live with 6 kids. So it's nice to see that the town is accommodating of these type of developments, and I know we may be coming to you after I'm done at council to be doing something similar. So I think it's great, top to bottom, the work with between the staff, the couple and the daughter. It's terrific, and it's so Stratford to see this kind of thing working out. So I'm definitely in support.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Any other comments or questions? Okay, call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Motion carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. 12H, Town of Stratford Resolution Number PH041-2025-PH DP 070-25, T&C Investments, conditional use, 4-unit townhouse complex, PID 1148147 and 1148121, 2 and 8 Smallwood Terrace. Stemming from Planning and Heritage Committee, moved by myself. Whereas an application has been received from T&C Investments to construct a 4-unit townhouse complex on PIDs 1148147 and 1148121 at 2 and 8 Smallwood Terrace. Townhouse complex of up to 6 dwelling units, up to 45% of a block is a conditional use within the medium density residential R2 zone. Whereas pursuant to section 11.3.3 of the Town of Stratford Zoning and Development Bylaw number 45, prior to the issuance of development permit for a conditional use, council shall ensure that property owners that directly abut the subject property are notified in writing and asked to provide their comments. Whereas on July 7th, 2025, 3 notification letters were sent to abutting property owners. And the property owners were given until 4 p.m. on July 28, 2024 to provide comments on the proposed conditional use permit. No correspondence was permitted to the town. Just to pause, Your Worship, I'm wondering, we have 2024 in the date of the resolution in 2024.
Is that correct?
A couple of items below. I'm wondering if it should be amended to 2025.
Yeah, it's just an error in the year. It should be 20.
Typo, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, apologies for not catching that earlier when I read it over, Your Worship. It just didn't catch it until reading now. So all reference to 2024, Your Worship, would read 2025.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so this resolution bears a recommendation.
No, I'm
Oh,
just-
sorry.
No, there's more yet. I'm just trying to figure where I left off.
Oh,
So whereas
okay.
on July 7th, 2025, 3 notification letters were sent to abutting property owners. The property owners were given until 4 p.m. and on July 28, 2025 to provide comments on the proposed conditional use permit. No correspondence was submitted to the town. Be it resolved, the council shall grant approval to application DP 070-25 from T&C Investments to construct a 4-unit townhouse complex on PIDs 1148147 and 1148121 at 2 and 8 Smallwood Terrace, subject to the following. 1, a detailed site plan showing the information required under section 7.3.5 of the zoning bylaw. 2, that a development agreement is executed between the town and the applicant subject to such terms and conditions as council deems necessary. 3, a detailed servicing plan must be submitted for approval to the Stratford Utility Corporation. 4, a detailed stormwater management plan must be prepared by a qualified engineer and approved by both the town of Stratford and DOT. 5, a detailed erosion and sediment plan must be prepared showing how erosion and sedimentation will be controlled and contained during construction. 6, prior to the issuance of the occupancy permit for the new dwellings, a final grading plan must be submitted and approved by the town of Stratford. 7, all other relevant provisions of the town of Stratford zoning and development bylaw number 45 are met. This resolution bears the recommendations of the Planning and Heritage Committee as discussed at a meeting held on August 4th, 2025.
Seconder? Thank you, Councillor Cox. Okay, discussion. Any discussion here?
I'll start off, Your Worship. Just lest I be deemed someone who's against densification, I'm certainly not. I'm in favor of densification in an orderly fashion in zones that maintain the integrity of our existing neighborhoods, and in particular R1 zones. This particular neighborhood has seen a lot of densification over the couple of years since its development. And a big consideration for me is opinions of the neighbors, and the neighbors in this case don't appear to be opposed to this development. And I don't think that this development is out of character for the neighborhood. And given that there are several detailed points that the developer must comply with in order to ensure that the property is not going to adversely affect or impact adjacent neighbors. I'm speaking in favor of this resolution.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other comments or questions?
I'll also be speaking in favor of this resolution. It's Kelly Heights multi-use, and it's sort of coordinates with the neighborhood behind it. There's 6 units, I believe, and beside, on the other side, the right side of it here, look at the photo, is 3 units, so it blends with the neighborhood. And developer, I guess, come back a couple times and work with planning to make this work. And so it was great to see how developer and planning worked this out together.
Thank you. Councillor Jackson.
Yeah, just one. So I know this is a special permitted use, but again, I think I mentioned one of the other meetings, we're seeing a lot of, we're seeing a lot of good examples of the stacked semis. So I'm hoping that, you know, if they continue this way, we can maybe think about moving that into a, like an as of right in that area at some point. I know we're only early days, but I think the quality and the fit with the neighborhoods that we've seen has been pretty good. So I'm just hoping to keep that on the radar.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to consider in our new official plan and planning development bylaw. Okay, any other comments or questions? Call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Motion carried.
Okay, Your Worship, moving on to 12I, Town of Stratford Resolution Number P8042-2023-RZ004-25. Grove Developments Limited zoning bylaw map amendment R1 to R2, 24-unit townhouse complex off Swallow Drive, PIDs 912410, 677344, 677336, 677328, and 190082. Stemming from the Planning and Heritage Committee, moved by myself, whereas an application has been received from Grove Developments Limited requesting to rezone 5 lots located off Swallow Drive from the low-density residential R1 zone to the medium-density residential R2 zone. Whereas the applicant is proposing to construct two 12-unit stacked townhouse complexes across 4 of the lots and use the 5th lot to access to each lot. Stacked townhouses are listed as conditional or special permit uses depending on the percentage of lots within the block. And whereas pursuant to the Provincial Planning Act and Section 3 of the Town of Stratford Zoning and Development Bylaw, Council must hold a public meeting to receive comments from the public on the proposed application. And be it resolved that a public meeting date to be determined by staff be held to solicit input from residents on an application to rezone parcel numbers 912410, 677344, 677336, 677328, and 190082, approximately 2.53 acres in total, from the low-density residential R1 zone to the medium-density residential R2 zone. This resolution bears a recommendation of the Planning, Development, and Heritage Committee as discussed at a meeting held on August 4th, 2025.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Oh, so I think Councillor Chandler got her hand up first. Thank you, Councillor. Okay, discussion.
So essentially, Your Worship, this is to move it to a public meeting for gathering of public input.
Yep, just for a public meeting. Yeah. Any comments or discussion before we vote?
I just got one question. I know we had this development before, different one now, but are we looking at Swallow Drive attaching to the street there, like?
Yeah, Department of Transportation said that has to happen, yeah.
Do you know where we're at in that?
Well, it's, the developer has, my understanding is, and planning may correct me on this, but I'll let planning explain it, sorry.
So with regards to that, there's actually 2 property owners in between the 2 lengths of Swallow. Both this, so Grove Development's been one, and then there's a third party, so both parties would have to build the road through to connect the two lengths of Swallow. So this is just going for, to the public meeting at this point.
Yeah,
The province has said Swallow has to be connected, so.
okay. Okay, yeah, because come in both ways off Mason Road, and come down that way, or come off up Bunbury Road, right?
Yes, yeah,
Come in
yeah.
that way, yeah.
So
Okay.
long-range plan is for it to be connected.
Yeah, this is just for a public meeting, just to be clear.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
just voting on getting input from neighbors and people in the area and stakeholders
Yeah.
on the proposed rezoning.
Yeah, understand. That's just-
All right, if there's no other, any other comments or questions before we vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those, anyone opposed? Motion carried. That's,
Moving on then, your worship, to the final resolution, 12J, Town of Stratford Resolution PH043-2025, DP092-25, JDLB Holdings Special Permit Use, Stacked Semi-Detached Dwelling 95 and 97 Smallwood Terrace, PID 1178078, public meeting, stemming from the Planning and Heritage Committee, moved by myself. Whereas an application has been received from John Davidson, owner of JDLB Holdings, to construct a stacked semi-detached dwelling at 95 and 97 Smallwood Terrace, PID 1178078, within the medium-density residential R2 zone. Stacked semi-detached dwellings are listed as a special permit use. Whereas pursuant to sections 16.1D and E in the Zoning and Development Bylaw, number 45, council shall ensure that property owners within 61 meters or 200 feet of the subject property are notified in writing and asked to provide their comments, and ensure that a public meeting be held to allow residents to provide their input before making a decision. And be it resolved that a public meeting be held on a date and time to be determined by staff and the Planning, Development and Heritage Committee, in order to provide an opportunity for the applicant to present the proposed use to residents and obtain their input regarding the special permit use. This resolution bears a recommendation of the Planning, Development and Heritage Committee obtained via an email poll conducted on August 4th, 2025.
okay. Seconder? Councillor Jackson, thank you. Discussion? This is just for a public meeting. Any comments or questions about it? Okay, if not, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Motion carried. I know Councillor Chandler's out of the room. We'll check with her when she gets back, but I'll declare the motion carried. Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Dowling. As I said, you certainly did your part tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Worship.
That's a big, and thanks for stepping up. I know Councillor McDonald will appreciate it as well. Okay, we'll now move on to infrastructure, and that is the purview of our Deputy Mayor, Deputy Mayor Gallant.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. Report for August 13th. We didn't have a meeting this month, infrastructure, with our committee, so staff have been busy managing projects at various stages. Design work is being completed by Myrtle Street Extension, Sachem Store Lift Station upgrades, Reeves Estate Water Main distribution replacement, and Sewer Lift Station, standby generators, and Shepherd Drive parking lot. The Glen Store Drive multi-purpose trail is under construction and is scheduled to be completed prior to the start of the school year, which is nice to see that happening. Repair work on the water main across Trans-Canada Highway at Jubilee, Kenlock is now complete. Once testing is complete and past, the section will be returned to operation. Repairs have been completed on the water reservoir and is back in operation. The sump pump redirection rebate program continues with funding remaining. We encourage customers to call in for more information on the eligibility of the program and to sign up before things get busy with the program again this fall. Infrastructure staff is busy with the following: maintenance, landscaping, and grass cutting. Cutting continues at all town-owned properties. Assisted with preparation set up for the Pride Parade and Pride in the Park. Assisted with surface preparation for wall murals at the waterfront park and pondside, which is nice to see. Speed radar monitor and speed hump installation is ongoing. Humps installed in Glen Stewart Drive, Hollis Avenue, Aptos Drive, Emily Drive, Brookside Drive, Heron Drive, McDonald Road, and Harlingview Drive. Scrapping and painting the exterior of Robert Cotton Center continues, which will be nice when that's finished. Bylaw inspection enforcement follow-up continues to be very busy, coordinating and overseeing water and sewer service installation for the pickleball facility. It was nice to see that starting a couple months ago. The framework starting there. Community campus, sewer and water component maintenance, such as a valve exercise and straighten valve boxes, raising lower manhole covers, repairing curb stop boxes, hydrant services, servicing, repair, flushing, and so on is ongoing. Water and sewer inspections, meter installations, and water turn-ons for new development ongoing inspection and maintenance for water and sewer system and facilities, very important this time of year. Managing ongoing customer and resident inquiries and concern. During the month of July, there were no sewer or water emergencies. There was a water service leak repaired on the customer side of McIntosh Drive, a water service leak repair on the utility side along the Trans-Canada Highway. This was a sewer blockage on the customer side of the sewer lateral on Kenlock Road, which was addressed by the property owner. And that is my report.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on infrastructure report? Councillor Jackson?
Yeah, just one for, thank you, Deputy Mayor. For Jeannie, I guess a couple things. One was the light. I know they started June 16th. I think they're done. Hanson's is done there now. But there's an awful hole, or the bump, turning in off the highway to the Shell and the Tims. So I don't know if that maybe was part of the sewer work or, anyway, it'll wake you up in the morning.
That ramp coming from east, coming into, yes, that is actually our utility work. We have been babysitting that, and yesterday it was topped up and leveled off. So we're hoping to get that paved. Now that the water main work is done, we just have to go through our testing process and make sure everything is good. And we're hoping to have that paved very soon, so.
Just while you're, Councillor Chandler, I'll let you go first. Go ahead.
I just had a question or two. In regards to the Pride in the Park event, I know it was our second event that happened down on the waterfront. We still have the tent and various kind of locations or like activities happening. As opposed to Canada Day, and I know the crowds would have been much greater, but we had infrastructure staff kind of greeting people as they come in the parking lot, pointing out parking, and on-site kind of moving things around. I didn't see that at the Pride in the Park event. Were the full complement of staff on-site for that event?
I see that Jerry Pierce might want to respond to that. I'm not really certain on what the
Okay.
expectation was or what the requirement was.
And I don't know what it was, and I don't know where it comes from. I just noticed that there were a lot of people moving, like there were staff members doing a lot of the stuff that I would have anticipated infrastructure would have been doing.
Yeah, with Pride in the Park being the first event, there's still a huge learning curve, so to speak, with that event. So we're just still in the process of going through a debrief. It's been a little difficult with holidays and vacations and that sort of thing. We have a large complement of staff available on staff for the preparations and on during the event. But I think in terms of a first run through the event and knowing where we'll have to be next year, I think there'll be some definite changes in terms of how we lay out and execute the event.
Yeah, no, I thought it was all well done. I just wondered how we kind of set those things up. And again, I did see some of the front staff kind of moving some bigger items and stuff, and I wondered if we had everyone there.
It's a very good question, Joe. Councillor.
Just a question. Oh, sorry, did you have your hand up? Okay, just wondered about the Glen Stewart roundabout. I know I mentioned this to MLA Burridge, and she was gonna, I understood. You haven't heard anything further on that?
I have a recent update. They are still working with Utility Relocates. Maritime Electric and Bell Alliant are out there doing some work for the province. They're anticipating that will be done by the end of next week. I have been told that there's still one property that they are looking to finalize a purchasing agreement with. So that's a little bit of a holdup, but they are hopeful that by the end of next week, their contractor can start road work.
Yeah, and my concern is, and I expressed this to MLA Burridge as well, that originally, according to the provincial government, this was supposed to be done before school started, and I'm really concerned about the students going through the construction zone if it continues past the first week of September.
And it will. I'm questioning whether they'll start before the first week of September. We've been told early on that they will be coordinating with the Department of Education and be arranging for bus routes and alternative routes. It's their project, so we're not getting too involved. However, we are expecting that there will be alternate routes and arrangements made.
Okay, thank you.
The school board, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Worship. I just want to, through Councillor Glant, express my appreciation to Infrastructure Department Director Woodard for the tremendous work that they do. It's a lot of complexity within what has to be done and what's being done, from cutting grass to things like, it's not glamorous, but water and sewer work is absolutely essential to the community, and looking at things like continuous work around lift station upgrades and lift station standby generators in particular are very important, lest we have a power outage, and enable us to keep moving along with their sewer systems. So I just want to express my appreciation for all the work that staff does to keep our community looking as it is and keep it in as good a condition as it is, and it's an excellent condition.
That's well said. Thank you. Good points. That brings to mind, though, another question, and that is, I hope it doesn't happen, but I guess we learned from Fiona that, and I know they're tracking the first named hurricane in the Caribbean right now. If another Fiona were to arrive, we learned some lessons during Fiona. We're prepared. We're ready for things like opening this facility up, and all the emergency measures would be in place.
I'm looking over at our emergency measures officer here, but absolutely we would be ready. We're not at that stage of watching it that closely yet, but.
Hopefully we never have Hurricane Fiona again, but it does sound like it could be a fall with excessive winds here on Prince Edward Island or Atlantic Canada. At least that's what we're reading anyway. I think, yeah, definitely the town of Stratford has learned quite a few things, but also the province has as well. We did a dry run of an event here, I guess it was last fall, of an event, but we will continue to work with EMO, and we're actually in the process right now of working with EMO to receive 25 emergency response kits, which in the event would definitely help us lay out this building or another building to respond to those in need.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
I have just a follow-up question to that. Obviously, yes, we are at the half point in our Atlantic hurricane season, but we can't help but notice that there's extreme climate-related weather events happening globally and in Eastern Canada in particular right now. Does the same emergency response plan port or apply to other types of natural disasters or weather events? For example, fire is what we're seeing in our neighboring provinces. And in that case, just out of curiosity more so, does the same group lead the instruction? So if we were in the case where we were dealing with fire that was, that people had to be evacuated, are decisions being made locally within the fire or fire department or from emergency, like how does that change, just from my knowledge?
Provincial EMO takes the lead on all disasters on Prince Edward Island. So whether it be hurricane, typhoon, fire, flooding, that sort of thing, EMO is the one that sets direction. One of the responses that we got back is perhaps that we did open a little bit too early during Fiona. We should have waited for direction from EMO to do that, because when we opened this facility at the same time EMO was telling everybody to stay off the streets and that sort of thing, we're putting people at risk. So with any disaster, it's contact between EMO, and they have access to myself, Jeremy Crosby, and others. Should something be happening in the immediate area, to contact us to open either this facility, the emergency service facility, or Cotton Park.
In the case of a fire, when does it go from a local fire to an emergency response?
Is it
As
a
in, like,
residential
like-
fire or?
Yeah, like if we looked at, like, just if we looked at last month's, that happened in a neighborhood, they did a fantastic job of containing that and fighting that fire, holding that fire in that residence. If that was to spread within that neighborhood, like, what is it, 2 structures on fire? Is it woods on fire? Is it land? Like, what makes it an emergency response?
I'm not sure exactly what the exact trigger point is, but I just know that any occurrence on Prince Edward Island, someone within EMO is contacted, whether it's a residential fire or anything of that nature.
Okay.
And then they become the assessor of the situation, and they reach out to the appropriate municipal or regional authorities.
Okay, thanks for sorry for all the questions, but I can't help you top of mind with everything that's happening.
Yeah, just on that, I think the provincial forest folks would be the first ones, should there be any kind of course, the local fire department would be involved, but they would quickly mobilize in the event of a forest fire or some kind of wildland fire. So that's something where if it did spread, I think, I know that, there's been a few lately, I don't want to take your thing, but I know I did a lot of research on all these things for work. And yeah, there's a definite mechanism there where they mobilize those folks. A lot of them some of them are the same folks. They're volunteer firefighters, and they're also volunteer firefighters through their work, or they're paid, I guess. But it is something to keep an eye on here, because I know we have, what precious trees we do have left are dry as can be, and we need to remember our firefighters, as Councillor Dowling said earlier, all that they do for us, and the least we can do is stay out of the woods, or don't light the, cook your marshmallows in the house or something like that. But it's we can wait till the rain comes, but it's definitely a scary time. I cut grass the other day and out in the North Shore, and it was just, it could have went up too. So I think just back to the emergency side of it, yeah, they definitely do coordinate. Would, but the forestry folks would be in really quickly to make that, to either lend a hand or take over.
The province is at Alert 1, so they're at a pretty high level right now, monitoring all the situations. There's a daily email that comes out, but also from a staffing point of view, I know Jeannie and I participated in a tailgate meeting with all our infrastructure and recreation staff on Monday morning, and all these discussion were part of our discussion points in terms of what we're doing and making sure that we're not the cause of anything, but we're also monitoring the situation as well. And I also know from a department head level on Tuesday morning when we had our meeting, it was one of the focal points right at the start of the discussion is to be aware of what's going on. And again, we don't want to be responsible for anything, so we'll be cautious about what work processes we're doing right now, what we can put off till later.
Thank you.
Just one question while you're still up there. Jeremy, on the heels of questions around environmental type of emergencies and changing weather patterns, is there a particular point where we announce, and perhaps if you've done it and I missed it, cooling centers within the community, or enact community cooling centers within the community?
Again, that would be something that we would probably receive information from or request from the provincial EMO office to do that. We've never actively announced that we're a cooling center, but I do know if you look at the splash pad, it's probably busier than anything. I think people are naturally taken to that location and other locations to cool off, but we would welcome any resident during normal operating hours to, if they wanted some reprieve from the weather conditions, to certainly come to the town hall.
I was in touch when we had the last, in July, we had kind of a heat wave period then. I can't remember now when in July it was early or mid-July. But the PEI libraries were proactive and wanting us to share that they were available as well. So we have been putting that messaging out, and then just general messaging about staying safe. So kind of further to that point that, you know, while we didn't officially announce this space or have to use this space, it was open, but there are lots of other, not lots of, but there are other opportunities in the community for folks to find safety and shelter, and we've been encouraging people to check on each other and do all those kind of things too. So we have been active that way.
Maybe in this heat, we could reissue some social media posts to that effect, just to make sure people are checking on their neighbors. And people go to malls, like you say, there's all kinds of other resources, but notification that you know, town hall is going to welcome people in on very hot days as well, you know, might be of benefit. Just something during these times when there's no specific emergency announced per se, where, you know, we have to open centers, to continually make the public aware that there are resources available within the town, not only town-owned properties, but just kind of a did you know type fan out.
Yeah, that's absolutely
Yeah.
been what we've been doing this week and last week. So yeah,
Okay.
and ongoing.
Great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments or questions on the infrastructure report?
I always, we stay around, with this happening, and we remember Dr. Jane making a proposal to us, talked about how we should look at it, forming a team in Stratford and being the only team and try and put things together. I know it's a big file, but I like to see something continue if we look down the road or something like that. I know Jody's talking about people with chainsaws, got to have a license, got to be qualified and all this stuff, and it'd be nice to have a small team in Stratford. I mean, when something happens, Jeremy Pierce got problems at his house. I mean, Jeremy Pierce can't be here all the time, or Jeremy Crosby. I mean, you're going to have to look after your home base first. Like, it's when these things go south, like, you know, and Jeremy can come over. But I think we had a good conversation here with Dr. Jane, and he was talking about and being involved with the team and setting up for the future there. So I think you were very receptive to it, Steve, when we sat down.
I think that's
I know it's a lot of work. It's hard. It's
Yeah.
a lot of work.
The last time, I appreciate you bringing that up, because it is something that I know is still on the list of priorities, things that we want to do.
Yeah.
I know that it is something that tends to get bumped because it's not, you know, an immediate thing we can
Yeah.
get results from, but the whole idea of emergency response teams is to get people pre-qualified for whatever they're willing to do in the event of an emergency. And I know that it is on the list of it's on the to-do list, and I've discussed it with Jeremy Crosby a few times, and I know that the staff are, you know, have it on their list to get at and do it. But to know it is good to, if we get together and at some point, maybe within the next few months, and really discuss how we can look at putting an emergency response team approach. It is used in other municipalities. We can learn from other municipalities. Trevor Jane has offered to Dr. Trevor Jane has offered to come and help us if necessary. So we could. We will be following up on that. Unfortunately, it's just so much time has gone by, and it's been so busy at the town that there's so many things going on that it hasn't been done yet. But it is something that's still on the list to do.
Yeah, like seniors living by themselves, and nobody can get to them and talk, contact them, right? And seniors that way. I know the last one, they asked me a couple times, well, how come the mayor hasn't spoken on the radio? And because they had battery radio, and something like that could be shared with you and the mayor of the town speaking on the capabilities that we have, right? And they were just want to be in the know.
Yeah.
And that's a couple of seniors I spoke to who live by themselves were asking. I hit my battery radio and I was listening and never heard much from the mayor, and I said, well, I'll bring it up to the mayor and staff here. So, I mean, it's not that he doesn't want to talk, it's just that EMO sort of organizes everything, right? Takes a lead, right?
Yep, and we can certainly pass on any information we have. I think that's an important point, and I appreciate you bringing that up. Thanks.
Yeah, just if I can, Your Worship, I agree with Deputy Mayor, and I think this is something I know for staff. It seems like an onerous kind of task for them to take this on, but I think even if we just had an information meeting, maybe with Dr. Jane there to talk about what it may be, what it isn't, especially when you talk about checking in on your neighbors or the seniors. There's some things that we need safety training for. There's some other things you just need folks to volunteer or at least give you their name ahead of time. And maybe there's kind of a staged approach to it that we could, you know, have some concerned citizens like any other, like citizens on patrol, who get together and look, you know, we're always doing, like, so there's some things I think that we could pick off, and those things that we need more training for, and not to put it on staff, because they already have, like you said, Deputy Mayor, when the hurricane hits, you're worried about your home, but you're also trying to run this place. So the least we could do is take that part off them. So even if we could just have an information session, just so, you know, what it could be kind of thing, and I think Dr. Jane probably could lead that, and then we talk about, you know, liability and all the different things that we need to think about, but even just to get it rolling, because if, you know, if we do have another one, I'm sure we can mobilize again, you know, within the town, but it'd be nice to have that at least kind of in folks' mind to say, how can I give back to the town who's been so good to all of us, you know what I mean? And to this point about the mayor speaking on the radio, you know, we didn't have power, we had no communications, for the first, I mean, some people a few weeks after Fiona, so, you know, we looked at all those things after the hurricane, and some things were unavoidable. Same as open and early. That was done with the best of intentions, and you know, like, wouldn't not do it again, I guess, but just if there's lines down and stuff like that. So it was all done with the best of intentions, but I think that if we can lessen the burden off our staff that way and bring the volunteers in. In some fashion. It'd be nice to try.
And I think we're really lucky to have somebody like Dr. Trevor Jane living in our community and offering to help us with something like this. So publicly express my appreciation.
Already, he's got a million jobs too, and even just for him to get the ball rolling and give us that kind of inspiration to get it going.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
I think that we should act on that because Fiona was almost 3 years ago, right? And there were lessons to glean from that experience. And I think the town did a great job. I was campaigning at that time, so into late October, et cetera, people still cleaning up in the yards. And one of the things that I did hear continually at the door was we've become so reliant on the way we communicate and rely on technology that people weren't able to access information because the traditional, or the modern technology had failed us. So keeping that in mind, that's a really important piece. And like Ron said, that advance preparedness or updates and tips in advance of the emergency, as Wendy said they're doing, is really important. So people can snapshot that or print it off or know that they have their numbers, current information, what the you know, those things on hand that we encourage people to have, not during the emergency or right after it, but in advance of. So that's all.
Okay, thank you. Good discussion. Great discussion. Okay, thank you very much for your report, Deputy Mayor. We'll, unless there are other questions or comments, we'll now move on. Committee of the Whole. There was a Committee of the Whole meeting on July 23rd, I believe it was. Yeah, it was on July 23rd. The agenda and the, I'm not sure if the minutes are prepared yet or not, but they will be on the town website for anyone that's interested in accessing those minutes or the agenda. Next item is the sustainability report. I'll ask the chair of that committee, Councillor Jill Chandler, to give her report.
Sure. I'm just going to kind of provide some highlights here. Tree planting update. So tree planting has been happening across several town-owned properties, aligned with the recommendations from the Stratford Forest Plan. There have been trees planted at Fullerton's Creek Conservation Park and at Kinloch Creek Park. A total of 1,108 trees were planted, ranging from approximately 1 to 3 feet in height, and 130 shrubs to enhance understory diversity and support local wildlife habitat. And there's also been trees planted in various parks such as Quebec Park, William Gate Park, Lance Park, McNeil Field, the soccer complex. And I think that these are very strategic in that we have been noticing like an increasing need for sun protection and shade. So we are planting trees. We're meeting several goals here in doing that, and we'll benefit from that in many ways in the years to come. There's information on what types of trees were planted within your package. The Hero Forest tree planting event, which happened yesterday under very hot conditions, and it was aimed at celebrating the town's 30th anniversary, but also this initiative, the Hero Forest is dedicated to honoring community heroes, so past, present, and future, who've contributed to shaping our town, and I think that that's a really lovely initiative. Yeah, I think it's really lovely. Community garden composting event. It's a partnership with the Department of Agriculture, and we'll host a community garden composting event on Friday, August 22nd from 4 to 6 at Cotton Park. It's a free public event to introduce 2 composting systems. More information on that in the package. 30th anniversary book, of course, we've highlighted that in the past. Limited copies are still available of the book, and it's a great keepsake, and I have one, of course, because as you know, my dad was in it too. And the diversity and inclusion update, a number of events and activities have taken place over the summer with support from the Diversity and Inclusion Subcommittee, and it's exciting that previous events expanded this year with the support of the program and event coordinator, including a larger presence at the Pride Parade, the new Pride in the Park event, which has expanded on past Pride events held in the town, and a Canada Day. And yeah, I think that's really positive, and the Pride in the Park event was a first-time event, and it was well attended, and of course there will be growth and there will be learning from it. But I think it's so important for us to embrace these messages, and ultimately, and I know sometimes there can be confusion, but ultimately we want to have a town and we want to have events where everyone feels that they belong, and that's the bottom line. So it's not, yeah, to me that's just a simple mindset and the easiest way to understand, and those events help do that.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on the sustainability report? If not, we'll ask you to keep going and with
Okay.
the intergovernmental affairs and
Actually,
accountability.
we'll quickly just peek at the transit graph.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
That's okay.
always go over that. Don't
No,
worry.
that's okay. Let me get my bearings here, because I believe that our numbers, I don't have my right glasses on. The transit ridership has rebounded a little bit, I think.
312, yeah.
Yeah, so 312. Yeah, so we're seeing some fluctuating numbers, and we're also seeing some information in media, et cetera, for different factors that may be contributing to changes in ridership. I think the ultimate numbers will come. I'm very anxious to see, like when we come to October, how ridership has spiked or leveled in September. I think that will be a great indicator of where we're headed, and as Jeremy mentioned, talks continue in the expanded offerings that are coming to Stratford, et cetera, from transit.
I'll just add that we met with Matthew Cassidy a few months back with council, and he proposed some new routes for the town of Stratford, which would create more consistency in the routes, would create more intra-Stratford connectivity, so that if a resident wanted to travel solely within Stratford, they could do that rather than having to commute to Charlottetown and back. So those routes are aimed to be started on August 26th. So that'll create consistency from morning through evening, every hour within the town. Right now, there's roughly about a 3.5 to 4 hour window during the middle of the day where we don't see any bus traffic. But as we're finding out, that doesn't mean there's no one in our town that doesn't want to take transit. So I think more consistency, more regular transit fare or routings throughout our community will be beneficial. Like anything, it'll probably take a little bit of time for the numbers to grow, but I think over time we'll see a positive result on that.
And I'm just going to say this, and I agree with you. I'm going to come across a bit like as a hard nose here, but I have been asking for as much information as we can on the breakdown of the riders who currently ride the transit system from T3, and I was under the understanding that we could get more information from our meeting with Matthew Cassidy, and I think that will be very helpful, in particular when we add new routes or a new service. We won't have any way to disseminate or determine where the ridership is coming. So if we see a spike in ridership in September after we've launched the new routes, we'll not be able to say our enhancements has been, like, we won't be able to have really clear analytics. Does that make sense to you guys?
It does. Unfortunately, the fare box information, the fare box, there's essentially 2 or 3 different fare boxes that operate on all the buses, older, almost manual systems versus some of the newer technology. One of the goals is to update all the fare boxes so that they're consistent across the fare box in every bus is able to calculate information for all 20 buses that are in the system the same way, but that's not currently possible right now. Only certain buses have advanced technology. A lot of it has, they're still dealing with paper. And
I understand.
That sort of thing, but
I
it doesn't
just
tell us exactly which demographic.
And I'm not
Some of
looking
the
for specific
technologies.
demographics, but we won't be able to make informed decisions going forward on how we enhance transit to best service the people who need it until we know what routes are the most popular and what buses have the most ridership. So although it's helpful to see the numbers in transit, the overall numbers, the daily ridership, if we can't hammer it down to see what routes are popular or unpopular, we won't be able to actually solve the transit problem or opportunity, like, to the best of our ability. It's not a criticism, it's just that we use data, we use science, the mayor refers to those sort of things, to make good decisions. And in this case, I still feel like we're lacking all the information. And I realize there's challenges, and I commend T3 for what they're doing, and obviously we want to work with them. But ultimately, my goal is to make transit as accessible to as many Stratford residents as we can, and that it services their needs first.
Thank you, Councillor. I think those are good points. I think we will ask that as much as possible that information be provided by staff as quickly as possible, or when possible, I guess. Right now, it's not possible to achieve it. I guess my further to that, I guess, regardless of the analytics or where the demand is coming from, I would ask that as much as possible, especially be prior to August 26th when the new routes, is it August 26th the new routes start? Prior to that, we hammer as much as possible through social media and every other media possibility, even to the point, I think, of paying for ads, either on Facebook or whatever, to get the information out about the new routes and that everybody knows about them as much as possible. I think that will really be beneficial to the town and also to residents, because that information is really important about when the routes are. We're going to be going every hour. I think people need to know that.
Yes, so right now T3 is working on that social media marketing campaign, and I know they've been in contact with Wendy and Jade in our office in terms of getting the initial information out. One of the things from CATC's point of view that we've asked is that perhaps we can start looking at doing social engagement so that we bring seniors in and maybe figure out a way how to get seniors more comfortable attracted on buses. Do the same thing with students, because we know at the same time as the school bus systems, a lot of those buses are overflowing, and we can get essentially high school students to high school perhaps quicker than they can go on the bus system. So we're looking at maybe there's some other social engagement opportunities we can do to drive people up to the buses.
And the other opportunity, just if there was, you had suggested paid advertising. I know that the town has run paid advertising campaigns where we've actually had Remembrance Day or our veterans, like we have actually used bus stops because there's advertising opportunities there. So that would be an obvious place to advertise expansion of bus services. As well, buses themselves are walking or driving billboards and have advertising space. So if there were town-specific buses with advertising space available, it would be a natural location to market the expanded routes.
That's a good point. Yeah, use the buses for advertising the transit system. Yeah, that's a great idea.
It's not, they have space, like it's an actual paid advertising space, so it would be great to get people talking around here.
Okay, any other discussion on comments or questions on the sustainability report? If not, we'll move to intergovernmental affairs and accountability.
Okay, so the Intergovernmental Affairs and Accountability Committee has not met for the summer months. Meetings will resume in the fall. A couple of highlights are the town's key performance indicators are being collected from staff, as well as annual resident survey and inputted into the dedicated KPI website platform for release in the near future. So this is a large project every year which takes efforts from every department to collect and report on. But thank you to Jade Vera, who takes the lead on the updating collection of the data as one of her projects. Regular meetings and conversations continue with both of our provincial MLAs and federal MP, as you had mentioned. And of course, said that we appreciate the openness of these individuals to meet with us and support the initiatives and events as much as they are able to. And of course, we want to build and maintain strong relationships for the betterment of our community and our overall success. And throughout the summer, staff continue to participate in meetings and work in the area of transit negotiations, revenue sharing, RCMP, fire company, among other partners in the community.
Thank you. Just on intergovernmental affairs, I will be meeting with, excuse me, we'll be meeting with the Member of Parliament for Cardigan, Kent MacDonald, on August 19th, as well as the Federal Housing Minister at the same time. So he'll be here on the island, and hopefully we'll get a good chance to get some information about possible funding for the community campus, federal funding for the community campus. As I mentioned, we did have a letter of support received from the Premier Lance just a couple of days ago, and really appreciative of that measure of support, indication of support from the provincial government. It's really important. So he is writing a letter on our behalf to the Federal Housing Minister to support the community campus project. So yeah, and as I said, I did meet with MLA Jill Burridge, and we'll be meeting with both her and MLA Jen Redmond in the future as well on a regular basis. Okay, any other comments or questions on intergovernmental affairs and accountability? If not, we'll move to inquiries by members of council. Any other inquiries by members of council on anything about the town?
Oh, I don't even know if this is the place to say it. It's not an inquiry so much as I just wanted to draw attention to Jason Hughes, one of our staff members in infrastructure, who is going to be driving B2B, a horse in the Gold Cup and Saucer, so he qualified. And I just wanted to bring that to the attention because we like to celebrate the successes and efforts of our staff members, and it's a big deal. So, and of course, he also was the winner of the Governor's Plate, which is Summerside's version of the Gold Cup. So big congrats. Yeah.
And best of luck to Jason. I think I speak for all of us, and I hope he does well. I hope he wins it all.
One small thing too is that there's been a bit of a movement put forth about changing the name from McNeil Field to Gerard Murnion Field. There's been some talk of that kind of thing. Yeah. And so there's been some letters pushed forward, or if not renaming the field, renaming something as Stratford in Gerard's name. He spent a lifetime promoting baseball and all kinds of different sports, etc., especially in the Bunbury region. George's health is not great, and each year it gets worse and worse. And he was a real pioneer in this town. And I taught with George at our school. He coached all kinds of sports, from softball to hockey to whatever, for 30-some years, and gave immensely to the school community, but also gave immensely to Stratford. So. In the future, I think we look at something we can do to put his name on it, and I fully stand behind that.
Yep, I did have a discussion with Ted Lawler about that, and we had a discussion
and also with Ron too.
With Ron.
With Ron Fisher.
Oh, okay, yeah, and I have had a discussion with Deputy CAO Jeremy Pierce about it, and it is something that's under consideration, and looking at something to really recognize the contributions of Gerard. I know he was on the baseball executive when I was coaching and on the executive, and he's a great community guy and deserves any recognition we can give him.
100%.
Okay, any other inquiries by members of council about anything about the town?
No, just compliments. During the hot weather, I was over here a couple of times using the splash pad with my grandson, and I was in the bathroom, and I'll tell you, the bathrooms are spotless.
That's great.
It's nice to see that, and we're probably better than the Irvings. But anyways, but no, it was just to see how everything worked and the crowds and talk to people, and it was nice to, like, probably this council, the former council, we pushed, Jeremy Crosby changed the cleaning. Remember the night cleaners once a day? And
Yeah, we took-
how we were
yeah.
concerned and how
Yeah.
bathrooms, we got complaints, but I was just saying as a positive, it was unreal to see that, and compliments from everybody out in the water, in the park there.
Thanks very much. Yeah, thanks for raising that.
No, it's good.
Okay, any other comments or inquiries by members of council? We do have other business later in the agenda, but
Okay.
any other inquiries by members of council? If not, we'll go to other committees, and this is yours as well, Deputy Mayor, Seniors Committee report, Senior Complex Committee report.
Yep. Led by Senior Steve. A contractor was in to fix the fridge and a unit. Also, a contractor was fixing the door on an oven and a unit. Also, gardens are looking much better this year at the complex due to us taking it over, like Heidi and maintenance staff. Great. It was nice to see. In the fall, we are going to look at removing some plants that are too close to the building that tenants are not caring for. We're going to remove those. And right now, there's currently 25 people on the waiting list. So that's my report, Your Worship.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on the report on the seniors complex?
Worship, I've mentioned it many times before, but the gardens across the community are fabulous looking, as always.
Oh.
I've heard lots of people from other communities that spoke to me and commented on how impressed they are with the variety and how well kept so much of our property is in relation to our gardens and green spaces and such. It's a very beautiful community. And that's thanks to our hard-working staff.
Absolutely, yeah. I know Heidi and her staff and infrastructure staff. They do a great job. So.
Well, the way the
thanks,
weather
Jeannie,
is.
for all the work your staff do. Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry,
No, well,
Deputy Mayor.
but the way the weather is, just things are dying, right? Because there's not water. I mean, you see Rose and Heidi in on Saturday and Sundays down in Cotton Park. You just drive by and they're in there watering flowers and doing stuff.
Yeah, she was out planting. They were out planting trees last night in the heat too.
It's
yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's just so nice to see it, and it's just nice to see how they care for it, right?
They planted 5 for every one I planted. Okay. If there's no other comments on the Stratford Seniors Complex Committee report, we'll now move to appointments to the committees. We have a resolution here, and I know you've done a lot of work tonight already, Councillor Dowling, but if this is your committee, if you would read that resolution, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, Your Worship, Town of Stratford Resolution CW 009-2025, committee member appointments. Stemming from the Safety Services Committee, moved by myself, whereas Council has established a number of standing committees and subcommittees in the Council Procedural Bylaw number 47, to advise and assist Council in its deliberations. And whereas the bylaw provides for the appointment of residents and stakeholders by Council to provide public input to Council in its deliberations, be it resolved that the following resident be appointed to the Standing Committee for the remainder of a 2-year term ending on November 30th, 2026 as follows. Safety Services Committee, Nicole Unterlander.
Okay. Any seconder? Oh, sorry. I'm not sure who got there first.
Councillor Jackson.
I'm not sure. Okay.
It was.
Councillor Cox, like it is, okay. Okay, we got a moved and seconded motion. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Motion carried.
Thank you, Worship. We look forward, not sure if it's Unterlander or Unterlander. Maybe I'm mispronouncing it with Unterlander, but we'll find out when we meet her, Your Worship, starting when we resume our committee meetings next month.
Okay, great.
We look forward. We thank her for putting her name forward, and all people who serve. And I've mentioned this before too. It's, you know, Stratford's quite unique in the degree of involvement of citizens on our committees, and it's we're all the better for it as a community to have that input.
Oh yeah, we get great value from having residents on committees, just because they bring expertise, experience, and all the, you know, everything that went before with them, and apply it to the town, give us the benefit of their expertise. So that's great. Okay, in terms of other business, no, we have no proclamations. Any other business anyone would like to bring to the table at this time? If not, on behalf of council and staff, I just want to offer my condolences to the Jackson and Campbell family on the loss of Debbie Campbell, Councillor Jackson's mother-in-law and Jillian's mother. Just want to express all our sincere condolences. It's tough to lose a mother and mother-in-law, and sort of the whole families, the two families involved. Our sincere condolences to
Thank you.
to
Thank
the
you very
family.
much, Your Worship. And Debbie was a resident of Stratford for about 30 years, I'm thinking now. So do appreciate that, and I will pass that on to the rest of the family. Thank you very much.
Okay, with that, we'll entertain a motion for adjournment. So moved. Thank you. We're now adjourned. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Steve.